that, and what we had been doing all this while, we knocked this one also right out of the sky, right in the middle of its flight path over Sirsa. The air warriors and all the armed forces so far have been doing a fantastic job, and I think the time has come for us to
So are you saying,
continue.
you see, Mr. Vikram Misri, when he was addressing, or I think one of the two officers were addressing, they made references to a high-speed missile from Pakistan. Is that what they were talking about? Is that the high-speed missile? Yes. The tactical ballistic missile? I'm not a military man. I don't understand military stuff, so please break it down for our viewers.
Absolutely.
And people like me.
That was an indication, to my knowledge and to my understanding, that was the Fatah-II he was pointing out to, which as per reports was launched this morning. And that is a trigger enough for us not only to react, not only to escalate, but react in a manner befitting our own capabilities and the volume of firepower and gunpowder that we can inflict upon them. We, being the superior power, now reserve by any conventions of warfare, and by any stretch of imagination, we reserve the action.
You said that we went clinically from one airfield to another. So what do you think we employed to do this? What were the kind of munitions we might have employed? You're an airman, so I'm asking you this. Also, a speciality or two about this Rawalpindi Air Base, the one in Sargodha. Why are they so important for Pakistan?
See, what happens is, if we have gone through the entire thing, three of these major airfields that I just named are close to their nuclear sites. These are the bases. If at all Pakistan is ever going to imagine or think in terms of launching a nuclear attack, these are the air bases which are close to their nuclear sites. So rendering them ineffective for the time being restricts their ability to deliver their much hyped nuclear arsenal, at least by the medium of air for the time being, till such time that they are able to repair their runways. What we would have, the weapons we would have used to address these airfields would be a variety of them, including, again, standoff weapons air-launched weapons launched by our fighter aircraft, as well as BrahMos as and where required.
So that would have been a panoply of weapon systems, obviously completely catching these Pakistanis off guard. It's surprising, viewers, that for 4 days, these Pakistanis, much vaunted warriors, couldn't protect their soil. We have taken out at will the targets that we aimed our guns at, our missiles at, our aircraft at. General, what does this tell you about the state of preparedness in the Pakistani army?
Yes, the results, they speak for themselves, but having said that, you see, these are the forward airfields, like my Air Force friend has said. These are taken out because once they take off, their fighters will take off from here, subsequently also. Also, every country...
How will they do that?
Once they take off, these are the bases.
Yes.
Sargodha, the Reem Yar Khan, these are their bases. Right? If they have to take off and come on us, these are the places.
Right.
But these airfields which have been kind of destroyed, this is a very temporary phenomenon. They will have the drills of recuperating them. Within few hours or within as many hours, you will find the airfields will be functional and these things will come up. Normally, these things are done when we make use of it, and like when you destroy them, you prevent them from taking off and we take certain action. But this certainly sends them a message. Now, you asked me the comparative thing, that how does it show their preparedness? Their preparedness is seen. You see, their air defense has failed. Chinese HQ-9 system, what they deployed, we suppressed that very well. And their JF-17s have been brought down, 2 yesterday and probably 2 today or 1 today.
But we can't compare, we can't confirm that, but that's the talk.
Yeah. But 2 have been brought down, and even that PL-15 missile, which lots of hype was created when they gave it to them. This is a Generation 5 one, which had been given to Pakistan. Yesterday, the debris which were found, where PL-15 was also found. So their equipment-wise, they are slightly inferior. We haven't made use of so far our naval forces, in which we are much superior. That card remains with us, and I'm sure the government at the appropriate time, those things will also be made functional. Second thing is, as far as army is concerned, you know the differential The 6.5 lakhs versus 14 lakhs and remaining equipment also, I will not go over that. And the other thing is, which is very strong in our favor, is the morale of our troops. You see, there are dissensions in their army.
Right.
The way, the kind of beating they've been getting from BLA, TTP and their seniors have been disowning that kind of thing, that doesn't motivate a soldier. And it's always the man behind the gun or behind the equipment which makes the difference. So that is their weakness, and we have very solid thing with us. So they know their weaknesses, for how long will they last, and probably that's how they're behaving like this.
Okay.
But what has been spoken, that we should let it go like this.
We should let it go. Professor Nalapat, you said that they don't consider us, which are the Hindus here in India, a species like them. They think we're some new biological mammal that has been sort of supplanted. But they also don't. The Punjabi Muslim there, that is the ruling elite of Pakistan, they don't treat the Kashmiris as their own, the Sindhis as their own, the Pathans as their own, or the Balochis on their own. So we have deep fissures in Pakistan. Could we this massive contest now, I'm not even going to call it a war, I can't even call it a conflict in that sense because it hasn't been declared as one, but this sort of tit-for-tat response and the attenuation of the Pakistani military system, the vulnerability of the great general Munir, the deranged man that you have defined very well using choice adjectives. Now, could we see perhaps the unraveling of the Pakistani state in the months, years ahead? Have we established that the army there is actually quite vulnerable?
Look,
Quite hollow.
What is the Taliban? The creation of the Pakistan army, and today the Taliban has become a ferocious enemy of the Pakistan military and is friendly with India.
Yeah.
The very thing that they nurtured has turned against them.
Yes.
Why? Because essentially, I've been to Punjab multiple times during the 1980s. They are wonderful people. And in terms of that, maybe in the military, unfortunately, they have the superiority complex, Punjabis, because they run the military. Potoharis, frankly, people from that Potahar area of Punjab dominate that. But I want to say one thing, Rahul. Don't make the mistake that was made in World War II by Germany. Hitler was pounding away, the Luftwaffe was pounding away at British air bases. Internal documents show that had these pounding attacks continued for a little while longer, Britain would have had no military air bases to take off its RAF from. The RAF was in panic. And then what happened? One stray bomber got through to Berlin and dropped a few bombs. And Hitler went mad. The man was mad anyway. And he ordered full-scale civilian retaliation and therefore removed the threat from the airfields, and that saved the RAF. The airfields are a vital element of defense, very vital. And going after them, dismantling their protection systems, dismantling the operational capability is a fundamental priority. So nothing should distract us from that. But regarding the United States, Rahul, I have my own views. I think it's no secret that Trump is not like Biden or the usual run of US politicians.
True.
We need to have people who can appeal to the MAGA crowd in the MAGA idiom. Frankly, Rahul, I hate to say this, but you would fit that bill pretty well, and so would many others. But the reality is that they don't like officials and former officials. And this very disciplined and very, what do I say?
Starchy.
Doesn't work
starchy.
with them.
Yes.
So we have to convince them and convince them of the China factor. And very importantly, convince them of the fact that we have brought down Chinese defensive equipment, whether it's missiles, whether it's your satellite imaging technology, whether it's protective systems. That's precious gold to the Americans.
Absolutely.
We need to drill that into them.
The world
So
is watching. I mean,
Absolutely.
China is looking very, very, very bad. It's looking very bad, viewers. Indian missile systems, indigenously developed, are better than the Chinese. We have shown that they make plastic junk, pollute the earth, and they also make metallic junk that they think is going to create waves militarily. It's all junk, viewers. It's junk. It's scrap. It's absolute scrap. And Professor Nalapat is saying so. Hold your thoughts, Professor, because we've got a entire report from the ground, from Jaisalmer, where India has done fantastically well. Let's just go across to it.
So, we are in Jamla village right now, where a part of a missile fell here last night in a residential area, and we have travelled all the way from Jaisalmer, and there are some residents of this village who had actually seen this missile coming in and falling in. We have ex-serviceman Padma Rao ji with us. Sir, क्या हुआ था कल रात में? क्या देखा आप लोगों ने जब ये गिरी थी?
जी सर, मैं मेरे घर के आगे सो रहा था, बनियाने के पास में मेरा घर है, तो मेरा बच्चा भी मेरे पास में सो रहा था, वो जगह है अचानक ही। उसने बोला सर ये फाइटर आ रहा, कोई पीछे इसकी लाइट जग रही थी लाल कलर की, तो मैं भी जगह, मैंने देखा भाई इसकी आवाज़ तो नहीं है, आवाज़ नहीं, तो मैंने बोला ये तो मिसाइल है मुझको। उसके बाद में 2 फाइटर ऊपर मंडराए बनियाना गांव के ऊपर, उन फाइटरों ने 2 चक्कर निकाले, फिर जैसे ही ये फाइटर इस तरफ आए तो इन्होंने पीछे ट्रेस किया है और इस मिसाइल के अंदर आग लगी है। आग को जलते हुए हमने देखा इस पीछे छर्रे निकले थे। उसके बाद में ये भटक कर यहाँ जैमला के अंदर आके गिरी है। ये मुसलमान भाई है नूरदीन, इसके घर के आके गिरी है। मैं पूर्व सैनिक और हमारे अंदर अभी भी इतना ही जज्बा है कि हम अब भी पाकिस्तान की छक्के छोड़ाने के लिए तैयार हैं।
कुछ धमाका वगैरह भी हुआ था जब गिरी थी तो?
हाँ, 2 धमाके हुए थे जोरदार। एक इसका था, एक पता नहीं और कहाँ का था। 2 जोरदार धमाके हुए थे।
तो कोई जान माल का नुकसान है?
जान माल का नुकसान नहीं सुना अभी तक, कुछ भी नहीं सुना। धमाके जोरदार हुए थे।
So with big explosions, this part of missile came here, and they then reported it to the local authorities, and then the military and air force and other intelligence agencies were informed. They are all here. A lot of people are here to, they have entire area has been cordoned, and they are making sure that it remains intact so that it can be taken further for inspection. With video journalist Rama Shankar Yadav, this is Anil Srivastava for CNN News 18.
Well, let's go across to Wing Commander Matiman. Wing Commander, did you see that that projectile?
Yeah.
Blackened by soot.
Yeah. Correct. Looking by the sheer size of it, appears to be a kind of a missile, not a big one in the sense. Could have been an air launched missile, as he rightly, the ex-serviceman present at that place rightly pointed out. He saw 2 aircrafts hovering, or 2 fighter aircrafts to be specific, over the place when this was dropped. This was knocked out and dropped onto the ground in the vicinity of his residence. So it could have been one of those missiles used in the air combat, which eventually landed up on ground. So there have been souvenirs of Chinese technology, in fact, being home delivered to us ever since we started spinning our magic over the Pakistani territory. Also to remember, and even at the cost of repetition, we must remember all this magic spun and the one-sided affairs we see over the last more than 48 hours is mostly more than 90% of it has been guided and executed only by the Indian Air Force, suitably supported a fraction of it by army elements. We didn't have the larger force, that is the Indian Army is still coming really into its colors and showing, giving them the real taste of defeat. That is yet to come. We are only on our way to pick out their air defense assets, to neutralize their war waging capabilities, to achieve air dominance, eventually air supremacy, to pave the way for our ground forces who are raring to go, I am sure. And now let me remind the initial talk that the Prime Minister delivered immediately in the aftermath of the Pahalgam attack in the political rally in Bihar. The desired end result, what he stated there specifically in English for the global audience to listen to him loud and clear, was we are going after terrorism, after the people who give birth to terrorism, who are the planners and the executors. We are here to uproot terrorism in its entirety, and so was exactly replicated on various occasions by the Honorable Home Minister and the Raksha Mantri also. So the end state is yet to come. We have just put the foot on the pedal, I think we need to keep it there for a while
Well-
and watch what is to follow. They will automatically fall apart. The
They'll fall
fissures are already visible. The moment the ground forces move in, my gut feeling says Balochistan will fall all by itself. We already have reports of Pakistani army and police forces running helter and
Yeah, I
skelter
want to
there.
get in. I want to get in with Professor Nalapat on this. What we saw there really looks like a drain pipe suffused with Chinese garbage. That's what we saw there. I'm sorry, it's colorful language, but Professor Nalapat, that long projectile looks like a drain pipe to me. And you know what drain pipe carry? We all know that. So you made that analogy that this is the moment where China is looking extremely bad. Can you elaborate on that point? That's an interesting point. And then, of course, we'll flip it to Balochistan and others.
Look, I wouldn't call them inferior or anything, but the reality is that we were superior. And frankly, Atmanirbharta is very important. Why? Because foreign equipment was very, willy-nilly. We don't know what Trojans are there, what data. For example, some of the advanced fighters, they've got microchips in them which transmit real-time data on all operations back to the maker. The maker of the jet gets all the information. God forbid that maker has got, what do I say, that our enemies have access to that particular maker, then we'll be in trouble. So the reality is Atmanirbharta is very important. Drones are important. Smart bombs are important. Smart missiles are important. And I can tell you, Rahul, this is the age of smart warfare, where the real warriors are, of course, the people in the front line giving their all. But the fact is, also important are the people, who have got thick glasses and who are just in a dark room looking at a bank of computers and guiding drones and predators, especially. We need to replicate a predator. We need to get more of our own drones so that there are no Trojans anywhere. And most importantly, I would like to say, we need to convince the United States about the justness of our cause. I am really surprised at the reaction of Trump and Marco Rubio.
Yes.
So, one thing I'll tell you about Prime Minister Modi, from the beginning he made it clear, I have given freedom to the military. I have given freedom to them to act as they will. That's the wisest decision that a leader can take, and he took it. So my point is very simple, Rahul. We are united. Where is this? The Munir was talking about, as you said, a new biological species. Where is the disunity? We are one. We are 1.4 billion people.
Yes.
All religions, all regions, everything. We are all together in this war. And we may represent the four of us may represent four entirely different parts of the country. But the reality is we are united in love of our country, in love of Bharat, that is India. And I would like to say, Rahul, this has shown the nonsense that Munir was spouting.
Yes.
He was hoping for all-out communal conflict.
Yeah.
He has got nothing. And I would like to congratulate the people of India for having stood unitedly and for remaining united.
And viewers, I have to tell you this. Talking about unity, talking about the unity of purpose, I want to tell you that the picture that we just showed you on the left of your screens, just a little short while back, where the Indian BSF and other units who are deployed at the LOC and the IB are hammering Pakistan. If you listen to that entire video that has been released, it is cut to the strains of Kadam Kadam Badahe Ja, a beautiful anthem. Yes. If you listen to it, if you play it loudly, you'll understand. And viewers, that anthem mobilizes all of us and makes us take a stride in one direction. All of us. No one is left behind. The PIB fact-checking unit is also working overtime, viewers. They've just put out a tweet saying, heard of the attack on Nagrota airbase? Well, beware, they've said, beware. An old and digitally altered video is being falsely circulated as footage of a Pakistani attack on the Nagrota airbase. The Pakistanis are daydreaming, viewers, and they're putting out all sorts of garbage. All sorts of garbage on social media. They're only fighting this war on social media, viewers. Let me tell you this. Because on the ground, they're getting hammered. Absolutely hammered. We'll take a short break. Take a short break. We'll come right back.
An escalation. I mean, Pakistan is willing to risk attacking your capital. Fortunately, we were able to disable it to make sure before it hit Delhi. But what if it had hit Delhi? And how do you know it's an armed conventional or is it a nuclear armed missile? So Pakistan is testing the limits of India's patience, and therefore any response henceforth will be measured. But that measure will also go up several notches.
Well, again, since you're talking about that, well, let me report two other developments. Sirens on in Jammu and another explosion heard in Srinagar. So let's just hope that everything is, everyone is out of harm's way. Akash joining us for more on these details. Ishan Wani reporting another explosion heard in Srinagar. Akash, the sirens in Jammu and the explosion heard in Srinagar. Yes.
Yes, we have been hearing the sirens. In fact, I'll try to give you some natural ambience. There you have the sirens, and these sirens are on since just a while back. We heard the AD gun sound destroying one drone, and I was in fact reporting that, Rahul. In fact, in Srinagar, we have been hearing about similar activities. So it seems like Pakistan is still not, in fact, letting its
well, big
men
news coming in,
rest from the
Akash.
sort of
Big news
activities
coming
that they
in.
have.
First phone call between India and Pakistan. The DGMOs are talking. Now, just break this down for us. DGMOs talking. What does this mean?
Yes, Director General Military Operations. We have seen that how their offices connected last Tuesday. But Manoj Gupta has been reporting that one hotline connection has been established, in fact, today. And Pakistan wants de-escalation. This is a big news coming in fact, Rahul.
पाकिस्तान ने ड्रोन अटैक के बाद में अब मिसाइल हमले शुरू कर दिए, वो भी रिहायशी इलाकों के अंदर। जैसलमेर के मंगलियों की ढाणी गांव के अंदर है और यहाँ पर आप तस्वीर देखिए कि मिसाइल का टुकड़ा, ये नज़र आ रहा है मिसाइल, ये देखिए कि यहाँ पर किस तरीके से ये मिसाइल यहाँ पर मारी गई है। और बिल्कुल रिहायशी इलाका देखिए कि ये देखिए काफ़ी वजनी है, उठाना मुश्किल है। ये पूरा आप देखिए कि पीछे से ये पूरी सब कुछ लगा हुआ, ये मिसाइल का बड़ा टुकड़ा जो यहाँ पर गिरा है। ऐसे कई सारे पीस गिरे हुए अलग अलग जगह पर। आप तस्वीरों में देखेंगे कि यहाँ पर ये गांव, ये देखिए यहाँ पर ये मिसाइल के अलग अलग भारी टुकड़े ये गिरे हुए। ये घर देखिए, बिल्कुल घर, यहाँ पर घर के आंगन के पार खरीदा। और इससे आप देखिए कि बड़ा हादसा हो सकता है। घर में किसी को नुकसान तो नहीं,
नुकसान नहीं हुआ।
ये आपके यहाँ गिरा, अगर थोड़ा सा पीछे गिरता तो
नुकसान होता।
घर के
अंदर भी गिरा है, घर के अंदर मलबा पड़ा है अभी अंदर।
किसी के लगी,
किसी के चोट नहीं आई।
कम से कम 5 किलोमीटर तक ये टुकड़े गए।
5 किलोमीटर
रेंज में ये गए।
तेज धमाका हुआ,
तेज फुल 3 धमाके हुए।
An escalation. I mean, Pakistan is willing to risk attacking your capital. Fortunately, we were able to disable it to make sure before it hit Delhi. But what if it had hit Delhi? And how do you know it's an armed conventional or is it a nuclear armed missile? So Pakistan is testing the limits of India's patience, and therefore any response henceforth will be measured. But that measure will also go up several notches.
Well, again, since you're talking about that, well, let me report two other developments. Sirens on in Jammu and another explosion heard in Srinagar. So let's just hope that everything is, everyone is out of harm's way. Akash joining us for more on these details. Ishan Wani reporting another explosion heard in Srinagar. Akash, the sirens in Jammu and the explosion heard in Srinagar. Yes.
Yes, we have been hearing the sirens. In fact, I'll try to give you some natural ambience. There you have the sirens, and these sirens are on since just a while back. We heard the AD gun sound destroying one drone, and I was in fact reporting that, Rahul. In fact, in Srinagar we have been hearing about similar activities. So it seems like Pakistan is still not in fact letting its
Well, big
men
news coming
rest
in,
from the
Akash.
sort of
Big news
activities
coming
that they
in.
have.
First phone call between India and Pakistan. The DGMOs are talking. Now, just break this down for us. DGMOs talking. What does this mean?
Yes, Director General Military Operations. We have seen that how their offices connected last Tuesday. But Manoj Gupta has been reporting that one hotline connection has been established, in fact, today. And Pakistan wants de-escalation. This is a big news coming in fact, Rahul. Pakistan wants de-escalation. Situation is, in fact, bad in the country, and Pakistan wants to meet Indian side. This was the connection between the DGMOs on both the sides, and they have spoken on hotline. DGMO, remember, is someone who takes care of the operation of the military on both sides, and we have been given to understand that DGMOs connected from both the sides, and Pakistan
right now I have to go
wants
across
de-escalation.
Okay, just 1 second, because we only have him for 10 minutes apparently, and I've been asked to go straight across to the father of Daniel Pearl. Daniel Pearl, we have to go across to Jude Pearl. I'm being told that we only have him for 10 minutes. I'm sorry, viewers, but in the middle of this breaking news, I have to go across to Jude Pearl, I'm told. Jude Pearl, your reactions really to the Indian strike, taking out the brother of Masood Azhar, a person directly connected with the incident involving your son.
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, Mr. Jude Pearl.
Oh, I can hardly hear you. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, the question was what my reaction is. I am, of course, very delighted that the issues of my son has come to the attention of the media and the general public, because it has been almost forgotten. And what was forgotten is the fact that the people responsible for his murder have not been brought to justice. So I'm glad that at least a person who was indirectly connected with his abduction was killed. I'm not sure that he was killed, actually. I haven't seen any confirmation from the Pakistani side that Azhar was killed, but I trust the Indian intelligence to verify that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jude Pearl, for speaking with us. Thank you very much. We'll just come back to you in just a short while. There has been a huge development here in India, viewers. Let's go back to that big story. I want to go straight. Viewers, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a day that has brought some news of devastation from Pakistan. We've been telling you it's been building up to this, and it has. It's dawned on Pakistan and its military bosses that where they sit, the very ground beneath their feet is shrinking and is unstable. And worse, it's within reach of the Indian Armed Forces. Look at the pictures, viewers. Narawal, Rawalpindi, Noor Khan Air Base, not just one air base, viewers. Half a dozen air bases are up in flames. In the middle of your screens is Rawalpindi. That is the citadel of the Pakistani military establishment. That's where General Munir sits. It's the military headquarters. And within yards of that military headquarters, viewers, there's this massive ball of fire. Fire, viewers, you can see that lighting up the sky. Imagine the psychological impact of that. Narawal, viewers, it looks as if the entire horizon is lit up. Viewers, all of this would have been speculative had it not been for confirmation that has come via Vikram Misri. Vikram Misri and the two army officers, the two military officers rather, who brief the Indian media, brief all of us on a daily basis, came out and gave us a whole rundown of what has transpired, viewers. So Pakistan provoked as it always does. It provoked across 26 locations. It tried to call our bluff. 26 locations from Srinagar all the way down to Nalia. And it thought that India would do nothing, viewers, because you see, they think that India sits on the moral high ground, wants to look like goody two-shoes. But viewers, not quite so. Not quite so, because India has retaliated in a manner that Pakistan is not going to forget. Pakistan troops are moving to the forward areas. They're shaken. They don't know next if India is going to cross the LOC. And we are expecting some more drama from them. But they're also moving, viewers, because they're getting strung out and eviscerated, debilitated at the front line. We've got visuals of Indian troops shelling Pakistan forward positions, Pakistan posts on the LOC. I've told you air bases have been struck. All Indian air bases, however, that they sought to target in the wee hours, pre-dawn hours, are safe. And how do we know this? Because pictures have been put out, viewers, time-stamped pictures showing our air bases absolutely unscathed. Viewers, there has been a massive propaganda campaign launched by the Pakistani forces and the cyber divisions. What have they been saying? They've been saying that the Sirsa airbase in India has been targeted. That's the biggest lie, viewers. Pictures were shown at the press conference, time-stamped from today, 10:48, to show that everything there is working normally. Then they said that Suratgarh airbase was flattened out. Viewers, the Suratgarh airbase is looking $1 million. It's looking $1 million, again, unscathed. S-400 base in Adampur has been flattened. That's what they said, viewers. That's also been denied. Critical power and cyber systems in India have been brought down. That's also been denied, viewers. They launched high-speed missiles, the Fatah-II, which was intercepted, viewers, over Sirsa. It was supposed to be heading to Delhi. Everything the Pakistanis are throwing at us, viewers, is collapsing. Civilians, however, are being targeted by their coward army, their terrorist force. Since they can't really hit us where it hurts militarily, at our military installations and assets, they've decided, let's go after the soft targets, viewers. Because that's what terrorists do, don't they? They're bullies. They never take on someone equivalent. They always take on the weakest link. And they've gone after our unarmed, defenseless civilians, viewers. And some have suffered grievous casualties. And there's also been an attempt, cowardly attempt, insidious, invidious attempt, viewers, to sow seeds of division between communities by spreading fake news, suggesting that Indian forces have carried out a false flag operation and targeted Sri Amritsar Sahib. Again, viewers, if you just have friends or anybody, they'll confirm to you that that's not the case. They've also said that we've been striking in Afghanistan. Can you believe it, viewers? That's also, of course, a lie. They're using civilian planes, viewers, as shields. That's also happening. So as tensions continue to escalate, viewers, listen in to Vikram Misri.
Pakistani actions that have constituted provocation and escalation. In response, and I repeat, in response, India has defended and reacted in a responsible and measured fashion to these provocations and these escalations by the Pakistani side. Earlier this morning, we saw a repeat of this escalatory and provocative pattern. Pakistani claims about activities that they have undertaken continue to be heavy on lies, misinformation, and propaganda. And on top of that, this is peddled by Pakistani state agencies. The claims that they have made about attacking and destroying various places, various military installations and facilities, as has been pointed out by my colleagues here this morning, are completely false. The claim about the Air Force station in Sirsa being destroyed, completely false, as you've seen. The claim about the Air Force station in Suratgarh being destroyed, completely false again, as you have seen. There's a claim that has been made that the S-400 base at Adampur was destroyed, completely false once again. Claims have been made about large sections of Indian critical infrastructure, power systems, cyber systems, etc. being attacked and destroyed, completely false. I would urge all of you and all those who watch this not to be misled by this tissue of lies that is being peddled by the Pakistani state for obvious purposes.
Viewers, let's go straight across now to Arun Dhata, who's joining us with more information. It's been a very, very busy day. It's been a fast-paced day, viewers. Lots of developments. The Tri-Services chiefs are at 7 LKM meeting the Prime Minister. Earlier, the Prime Minister had a 1-hour, 20-minute meeting with the NSA. So a lot happening. Defense Minister also at the Prime Minister's home. CDS also present. Let's go straight across to our reporter there to get a sense of what really is transpiring. Remember, viewers, yesterday at around 6:30 or 7 in the evening, we again had one of those big meetings where first it was the naval chief, and then he was joined by the 2 other chiefs of the 2 other military wings. Then you had the CDS, then you had the NSA. All of them met. You had the RM joining in, the Raksha Mantri, that is, and that meeting also was at 7 LK. And everybody said that there was something big that was going to happen, and look what transpired. So here is another brainstorming session. Let's go across to Arun Dhata for more on this. Arun, what can you tell us? It's a big development.
Well, that's right, Rahul, Tri-Services Chief and CDS Anil Chauhan and just now Defense Minister Rajnath Singh have arrived here at Prime Minister Modi's residence, and this is very significant. In the morning we saw NSA Ajit Doval coming here and in fact sitting with Prime Minister Modi for almost 1 hour 30 minutes, and now we are seeing Tri-Services Chief and Rajnath Singh. This is also of course about the retaliatory action that India could take. We are seeing since morning that how India is responding to the Pakistan's violations at different places. We saw before this, Rahul, that Rajnath Singh had a long meeting with CDS at his residence, and on the other hand you had Tri-Services Chief sitting in the South Block, in fact also monitoring situation from the war room. Now all of them are here at Prime Minister Modi's residence, and remember yesterday when they were here for 5 hours, long meeting happened. In fact, we are also given to understand that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar could be coming here. So India is of course planning action on a larger scale because they are anticipating that Pakistan is continuously violating through the ballistic missiles and other drone activities which they are doing. So there needs to be a proper planning to really counter them and then hit them hard. So this meeting is very, very significant, Rahul. We are present outside Prime Minister Modi's residence at this point. As we speak, the meeting has commenced inside the residence.
Okay. Well, you know, viewers, it's all really about figuring out how much to put pressure on Pakistan so that deterrence is established. That's what really it's about. And I want to go straight across to Shivani Gupta because Shivani, we know since the morning, details have come out, Shivani, that tell us just exactly what India has been up to. Is that going to be enough to establish deterrence? We don't know. That's all a decision that is being taken at 7 LK.
Absolutely. But let me just break down some of the top visuals from through the night, which will detail the most important developments. So India has launched retaliatory strikes at major Pakistani air bases, including the Noor Khan Air Base in Rawalpindi, Murid Air Base in Chakwal and Rafiki Air Base in Shorkot. These are some of the visuals that we have picked up of the damage that has been caused. This is of course some of the blasts that have been captured in Rawalpindi, and of course this is the Noor Khan Air Base where a massive blast has been picked up also in Narowal. India has hit Pakistani posts in Sialkot and Narowal as well, and visuals have been accessed by CNN News 18. India has also launched an attack on Sargodha Air Base in Pak's Punjab province. Let's take a look at India's action at the Sargodha Air Base. Behind me are visuals from that air base. As you can see, these are people who have been taken aback as far as India's strikes are concerned. India's action in retaliation. This is the Sargodha Air Base from where we have captured the blasts that have been caused by the Indian retaliatory strikes. India's drone impact on Lahore Sheikhpura district has also been captured, and these are those visuals. This is in Lahore, one of the biggest cities in Pakistan, Sheikhpura district. You can see remnants of what seems to be the Indian strike, and you can see Pakistani men surrounding them and looking at them. A lot of damage has been caused. India is not saying it or detailing it, but we have visuals to show that several Pakistani cities have been hit back in India's retaliatory strikes. Damage has been sustained due to Pakistan's cowardly attack on Indian side of the civilian border areas as well. These are some of the regions that we are bringing to you. A lot of them are damages from the areas across the LC, particularly in Jammu, in Baramulla, in Uri, and so on and so forth. These have been caused both because of Pakistan's heavy artillery shelling, but also because of the swarm drone and missile attack that Pakistan attempted once again. So here you can see in Jammu city, a Hindu temple was targeted, homes have been damaged in Rehari, shops have been destroyed in Jammu's Nagbani, and civilian residential areas particularly have been targeted in Uri and Baramulla. In the press conference that also was held a short while ago, that's exactly what the Foreign Secretary detailed, that civilian areas are being targeted, and this has been happening for the last 3 days. Let's also get you some more footages that we've captured from across Indian cities. Drone and missile debris is being found in multiple cities along the IB in India. Remember, 26 locations along the western border where drone and missile attack was attempted again by Pakistan, and a lot of that debris is being found. In Srinagar's Lasjan, what is believed to be remnants or parts of a downed Pakistani jet are seen in some of these visuals at the very left top of the screen. But also in Lasjan, there are of course a Pakistani projectile debris that has been found. In Jaisalmer, a bomb-like object has been found. Parts of drones found in Amritsar and Uddapur. Also, there is footage here, there on the bottom left is the footage of India's action against launch pads from where a lot of these drones were being fired. This is how India has acted. This is footage released by the Indian government. This is where drones were being fired by the Pakistani side near Jammu, and in retaliation, the Indian government has taken on those posts and have destroyed those posts. But the biggest news of the night was Pakistan launching long-range ballistic missiles, Fatah-II, at India. It is believed that it was meant for the national capital, Delhi. This, of course, was intercepted and was destroyed somewhere around in Haryana. In Sirsa, loud blasts were seen and heard. These are some of the visuals we picked up from across the border of what they're doing. But of course, missiles have been downed in India. There are visuals from Haryana in Sirsa where an extremely loud blast was heard as citizens watched themselves how the ballistic missile was brought down. Let me also show you a comparison of how Pakistan's attempts were thwarted at home and how India launched a counter-offensive in Pakistan. So these are the places which India has attacked. I have listed some of them: the Noor Khan Air Base in Rawalpindi, the Murid Air Base in Chakwal, Narowal, Sheikhpura in Lahore. There is the Rafiki Air Base, Sukur Airport in Sindh. But all across the western border, actually it goes right up till Gujarat, Bhuj, where once again in 26 locations, Pakistan has tried to swarm the Indian air defense system with drones and also with missiles this time around. This attack is markedly different from what happened last to last night because this is much, much more serious. A missile, ballistic missile, was aimed at the heart of the national capital. But none of these attempts from Pakistan have succeeded. Very minimal damage on the Indian side. Actually, the more problematic area continues to be the LOC, where there is indeed civilian areas that are getting pummeled by Pakistani artillery shelling, and there has been some loss of civilian lives. But across the rest of the country, along the international border, when it comes to, let's say, down from Jammu, there's Jalandhar, Amritsar, Firozpur, Sirsa, Suratgarh, Jaisalmer, Barmer, no real damage that has come to light.
Well, thanks indeed there, Shivani. That's big news, of course, coming in also. Pakistan's foreign minister says his country would consider de-escalation if India does not carry out further attacks. Viewers, I told you they're shaken up. They don't know what's hit them. We've just had Shivani show you exactly how we've been punishing. Unimaginable punishment is what the Prime Minister had said, if you remember, viewers. Let's go across to Tejinder Singh for more on this. Tejinder Singh Sori will be joining us for more on this, viewers. But a short while back, in fact, around 12 o'clock, we had reported that the Pakistan's DGMO had tried to reach out to our DGMO saying that, look, let's de-escalate. We are ready to de-escalate. Now the Pakistani foreign minister says his country would consider de-escalation. In the background, a call has gone out from US Secretary Rubio to the Army Chief of Pakistan. Yes, General Munir, the man who's got his head in the clouds. And that person was told pretty much in very, very, very straight, direct language, you've got to step down, buddy. You've got to step back. He was told that, viewers, because Rubio put out a statement saying that he'd also passed on that message that you need to start talking to the Indian side also. Dr. Jaishankar responded short while back, viewers, saying that India will do what it has to do in its own interest. We are not here to escalate anything, but if Pakistan doesn't choose to take the off-ramp, they don't choose to curtail all this terror activity that they are resorting to, it's going to be problematic. Let's go across to our reporter Tejinder. Tejinder, it appears now. Okay, we don't have Tejinder, but I'm also being told, viewers, that at that meeting where the Prime Minister is meeting the 3 service chiefs, as also, of course, the RM, we're being told that NSA Doval is also now part of that. So the CDS, NSA Doval. And I want to show you pictures from last night, viewers, of all of them with the Prime Minister. And if you remember, I tweeted that set of pictures, and I had told you that those pictures showed the Prime Minister once again decisively setting down the guidelines, the parameters, and how the others were reading out to him the options, the playlist really, of what can be done. And if we can pick out those pictures from about 8:40 in the evening from yesterday, it would be great because it's the same set of people, viewers, sitting with the Prime Minister this afternoon at 1 o'clock. So are we expecting more? Remember, Vikram Misri had said, viewers, right after that press conference, he'd said it off record, off camera, that is, that we're going to have to come back at about 4:35 with a more detailed briefing because a lot has transpired. Still, a huge number of active operations are on. So are we punishing Pakistan even as we speak? A video has been released by the ADGPI, viewers. That's the video to the left of your screen. It's been shot or it's been filmed or put together, edited to the soundtrack of Kadam Kadam Badhaye Ja, which is a patriotic song, viewers, urging the military, urging the nation, urging each one of us to be in lockstep and move firmly towards the direction of our goal, which is, of course, to restore a certain degree of deterrence on Pakistan. General Kohli, are we getting to the point where we are beginning to restore deterrence in Pakistani minds, or do you believe we still need to do a lot more?
No, Rahul, I certainly feel we need to do more. This is only the beginning. And like you said rightly, number of off-ramps were given to them. They didn't take it. And now they are realizing their capacity or they're running out of it. So they are contacting us. But on ground, I feel we should go full hog. Until unless some deterrent punishment is given to them, we should not sort of roll back anything. These talks have got no meaning. They have done number of talks in the past also, which they will not follow. They will not.
So you don't think, even now, they have been, and General Prasad is here with us. General Prasad, do you believe that the Pakistani military now has got the message? Or are they still sort of in doubt and therefore perhaps will repeat a misadventure 6 months down the line? Or have they realized ki, you know, to use a Punjabi phrase which perhaps only they understand, ki bhai shamat aa gayi hai, you know, we're done for?
No, Rahul, even though they may understand, they will never admit it. That's the problem with Pakistan Army. Look, let's examine the whole thing very step by step.
Yeah, please.
If you allow me to do that.
Of course, sir, please.
Firstly, we must understand what is the task assigned. What is the task before the government of India, before all agencies of government of India. And that task has to be accomplished. You will ask me tomorrow, where does this war ultimately go? Where does this finish? Everybody wants to know that. And it will finish only when the task is finished. What is the task? The task is to eliminate all terrorist leaders, and those architects who design this terrorism, which is the ISI and the army chief in the current situation. So the task will only be considered as accomplished by our Prime Minister, by our government, by the people of this nation when it is done. Okay. To do this, multi-directional approaches are going on. The military, the finance ministry, the foreign ministry, the economic ministry, the irrigation ministry, all of that is going on. The simple fact is this: we are in a position to, and continue to say that, as the Prime Minister said 3 years ago, this is not an era of war. We do not want to go to war. We have gone to war, if you call it war, to terrorism. We have to remove terrorism. Now, in the process, if the Pakistan Army thinks that they can derail us in achieving our objective, they're sadly mistaken. We started by destroying their 9 or 12, whatever those camps were, in the first night. Then they retaliated, we retaliated, and all of that is going on for the last 3 nights. The simple fact is this: we are not escalating. They are escalating. They want to first start with the drones, we drop the drones. They started with missiles, we dropped the missiles. They attacked some of our airfields, those are all defeated. They fired some armed drones, they were defeated. Now, if all this continues and they try another stunt, some reports say there's some formations that move closer to the IB. Sure, come closer to the IB, we have no problem. You escalate, but we will not, as far as possible, target civilians.
I need to interrupt you,
That
sir.
is
I
not
just
a
need
part
to
of
interrupt you because look at this, viewers. These are pictures from Rahim Yar Khan. Look at this, viewers. The offices, palatial-looking mansions. Look at them. The chandeliers hanging by a thread, viewers, from the ceilings. This is what India has done. This is their cantonment, viewers. It's looking like a garbage dump. Completely flattened out. Rahim Yar Khan Air Base in tatters. Visuals of the destruction. There it is, viewers. This is evidence. Evidence coming out of Pakistan. This has not been put here by anyone else, viewers, than these people in Pakistan who have got the shock of their lives. So if the idea was actually to, at some level or the other, impose a degree of deterrence, we have done that, viewers, in a way that the Pakistanis will remember. It's visible. They can feel it now. They can feel it, they can see it. They know that even their most pristine bases are open to India.
Yes, Rahul, I just want to say something. Taking clue of what Shankar said, you see, we should not forget our aim. By killing 100 or terrorists, 100 more will get created. And so long we do not, because the basic thing is this ideology which is behind this. And the supporting this ideology is their army. So the army needs to be punished. And the Pakistan as a country need to be deterred. How that can be done? You see, by these kinetic actions, which we certainly take, we must not stop here. Some deterrent punishment must be given to them, visible. so that their army is made to look silly in front of their population, one. But long-term solution will be that we break Pakistan from within. You see, Pakistan is a nuclear power, and if you look at 1990, the Russia was broken from within. They broke into 15 parts. So the way we have started these non-kinetic actions and the economic squeeze has been started, that should carry on. The BLA is doing its job, TTP in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa will do its job, and also Indus water, the problem which has been created for them, that will also...
So 1 second, this Rahim Yar Khan airport, just tell me a little bit about this military installation. And I also want to bring in General Prasad on this. General Prasad, these pictures that have come, give me a quick sense of Rahim Yar Khan, its strategic importance, and I'll come out to you, sir. General.
Yes, of course it is. First of all, first point, who's sending these pictures to you? Somebody from Rahim Yar Khan, isn't it?
Yes.
Your journalist has not gone there to take these pictures.
No.
Obviously, they are fed up. Okay, now your second question about the importance of Rahim Yar Khan. Rahim Yar Khan is a very important base, a military base in the desert. If you look at the map, as it so happened, I used to command the division opposite this, perhaps you will recall, and this is an important target for us.
Where exactly is this,
We
sir?
will be able to destroy. Look at the map. If you look at Jaisalmer and you look towards the west, just about 2 degrees north of that,
So
you
it's
will
in
find
Sindh.
Rahim Yar Khan.
Yes.
Rahim Yar.
Yes.
Yeah. If you've got a map, I wish I could show you on a map. It is very much within the target range of our forces. And let me tell you, Rahim Yar Khan can be reduced by us, not only by air but by all other means as well, which we will not use unless required to use. As I said continuously, every military action that the armed forces of India will take will be focused towards achievement of the objective and the task. We will not do anything beyond that task. And if you force us to do it, if Rahim Yar Khan gets activated against us, they will get a lesson. They've already got one lesson already. If they want to do some tank movement from there, they'll get an answer from us in tank movement also. The point is this: now so far they've only used the air power, the missiles, the drones, and the aircraft. All of them have been responded to. Lots of bases have been made unfunctional. If they wish to do a land action, they must understand that we fully appreciate this, and they will have a very soon a situation where 90,000 people will lay their arms down, and the Pakistan army much quicker this time than what they were in Bangladesh. They're actually, the rank and file of Pakistan is quite fed up. Is quite fed up of their senior officers who have done business as part of their appointments. A huge amount of trade and commerce that goes on at the higher levels. They have huge pieces of land in Pakistan. And if you go into more detail, which I'm sure you will, some of the social medias are showing what kind of accounts the senior generals of the Pakistan Army have in accounts in the UK and elsewhere in the world. So the lower ranks are the ones. Now I will give you a small example of the past history, very recent history. You remember when Imran Khan's story was going on? The GHQ headquarters was surrounded by the civilians.
Yes.
One of the corps commanders had to run away from his home. You remember that?
Yes.
So is that situation likely to occur? See what the general
that was
said,
unprecedented,
and I completely.
sir. That was
we have to
unprecedented.
use.
I mean,
we
can
have
you
to-
imagine the holy of holies in Pakistan, General Shankar Prasad, exposed in that manner? You're absolutely right. That's a very good example you picked. Yes. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I just saying is this, that you see, we have to make the army change his thinking from terrorism to conventional war, which they haven't understood. They are only focusing on terrorism. If you allow me, I'll tell you, Ziaul Haq, back 30 years ago, said, we cannot win a conventional war with India after Pakistan, they're going to defeat. He said the only way to tame India is to give terrorism and 1,000 cuts, whatever that saying he said. And he said all officers need not be educated. Many officers can come through the madrasa teaching. The present army chief is from madrasa teaching. You know that very well. 56 years ago, and therefore, the situation today is such that the Pakistan army is not focused towards training for conventional military operations. They have two different governments in the country. One is the politically so-called elected government, which is in non-functional, and we have military government, which is functional. So unless we can get this military thinking to be changed by the people of Pakistan,
Yes.
so it will be a great task for the entire world, Rahul, if we can change the psyche of Pakistani people, for which the Pakistani people themselves have to stand up.
Yes.
There are intellectuals there. There are examples of just given Imran Khan. So people
That
have to stand
tipping
up to say
point.
this army needs to change its thinking from.
Maybe we need to punish a little bit more
From
for that
conven-
tipping point. You have a different view, General. You believe that, General Kohli, that you believe that we shouldn't wind out right now.
No, certainly I feel that.
Yes.
The deterrent punishment has to be given to them, which hasn't been given so far.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, one more point I want to wish, he has brought out a number of things in this. You see, internationally things we've been managing. We need to get USA on our side. USA today needs us. We are part of Quad. They want to have FTA with us and so on. But this thing which has happened yesterday, I just have the thing which happened yesterday in IMF, that they've been given this money.
Yeah.
You see, I have a gut feeling, without this thing, that this guy, Trump, is very good in making deals.
Huh?
He is very good in making deals.
Yes.
You don't know. He might have given them this money and told them, okay, you de-escalate.
Oh.
But no, this is only my gut feeling. This may be wrong. I have no idea.
Well,
but
look,
whatever,
I can only tell you one thing, sir. That after that money was given to these rascals across the border,
they start.
Especially that deranged general, something changed. They got extremely emboldened and they did what they did.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Fruity language, but I'm sorry when our people, our civilians, viewers, on the border areas are being targeted, defenseless. And Vice Admiral Sinha is here with us. When a military behaves like an auxiliary of a terrorist organization, then they deserve only condemnation. Nonetheless, I'm not going to get swept away. I'm going to reel myself back in. But Vice Admiral Sinha, this is very important. We are now at a point of inflection. There is a meeting going on, a very important meeting between the tri-services chiefs, the CDS, the NSA, the RM, and the Prime Minister. It's the same team from yesterday. We're seeing what they have done after meeting yesterday. This is Rahim Yar Khan. Jaisalmer was being, as you know, harried for the last 2 nights. And General Prasad has told us that this is right opposite that. And we've responded by doing this to them. There is nothing parallel. There is no parallel. They've tried everything to strike us, to hit us. We've blocked it all. They're at their wits' end. Pakistan is on the ropes. The meeting, I'm sure, is now about, are we done with establishing deterrence, or do we need to do more? If you were in that room, what would you be telling the Prime Minister, sir?
Well, thank you, Rahul, for having me on your program. I'm glad to see General Prasad and General Kohli here. Rahul, I have a view that Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed are only hired people who do the job. The actual terrorist organization is the Pak Army ISI combined. They are the terrorist organization, and we have to do something very heavy. And that's precisely what is happening. The punishment is going on left, right, and center. You have shown a lot of photographs. You have also said that Pakistan has reached out to India saying that we should de-escalate. Yes, the money was given from the IMF. They became very bold. They did what they did, but thereafter they got a call from Marco Rubio, and he has spoken to the Prime Minister, and he has told them very clearly that, look, you de-escalate immediately. And what you're seeing now, the 2 reasons. One is possibly, maybe General Kohli is right, that maybe that Trump has said, okay, we're getting you this money, but you stop, de-escalate completely. In the meantime, India has pulverized. You see what has happened in Chaklala. You see the Rahim Yar Khan and one more airfield, all in and around Rawalpindi. You're showing this photograph. Just look at this. Look at the fireworks which is going on. Looks like Diwali. So this is a very bad time for Pakistan. Now, second point that I want to make here, the Navy is pretty close on the Makran coast, and they have issued a nav area warning that no merchant ship should come within so-and-so area because there's a live firing practice going on. And most of the merchant ships have been diverted. They're not entering Karachi for the fear of, getting hit by the practice missile firing. So I think that, time has come, and I quite agree with General Kohli that we should not leave it at that place. My advice will be, okay, if they are asking you to de-escalate, make sure that you destroy their complete terror outfit and possibly the GHQ, because that is where all the dirty minds exist. And I fully agree that Pakistan is imploding from inside. We should help this to implode little faster. You can have Balochistan. I believe that they have said that we are independent. They're asking Indian government that please let the government
recognize
Balochistan
us.
government in exile.
Yes.
They've gone to the UN asking for a membership.
And we should.
And similarly,
I mean, if we could recognize that moth-eaten Palestine, I'm sure we can do that with Balochistan, which we have more in common with.
So, without crossing the line of control...
Okay, sir, I need to interrupt you because more details, big news. Details of terrorists killed in Indian strikes on 7th May in Pakistan. Mudassar Khadian, Khas, alias Abu Jundal, affiliation Lashkar-e-Toiba. Big name, viewers. In charge of Markaz Taiba Mudrike, received a guard of honor at his funeral by the Pakistani army. Hafiz Muhammad Jamil, affiliation Jaish-e-Mohammed, eldest brother-in-law of Maulana Masood Azhar, in charge of Markaz Subhanallah, Bhavalpur, actively involved in radical indoctrination of youth and fundraising for JEM, Jaish-e-Mohammed that is, Muhammad Yusuf Azhar, Ustadji as he was called, alias Muhammad Salim, alias Ghosi Sahab, affiliation Jaish-e-Mohammed, brother-in-law of Maulana Masood Azhar. Masood Azhar, viewers, his family picked out, chun ke, one by one, handled weapons training for JEM, involved in multiple terrorist attacks in Jammu and Kashmir, wanted in the IC 814 hijacking case. Khalid, alias Abu Akasha, another big name, sir, another very big name. Lashkar-e-Taiba, involved in multiple terrorist attacks in Jammu and Kashmir, engaged in weapon smuggling from Afghanistan, funeral held in Faizabad, attended by Pakistani army officials and the Deputy Commissioner of Faizabad. Can you believe it, viewers? These people, as General Shankar Prasad have said, right now to us, this military establishment, and as Admiral Sinha was telling us, these people are indistinguishable from terrorists, viewers. Muhammad Hassan Khan, number 5 on that list, affiliation Jaish-e-Mohammed, son of Mufti Asghar Khan, Kashmiri operational commander of JEM in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, played a key role in coordinating terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. These are the names. These are the names. Payal, let's go straight across to Payal. Payal getting this information. Big scoop by Payal. Go ahead, Payal.
Rahul, for all those people, all those naysayers who are real doubts when Rajnath Singh said that at least 100 terrorists were killed, including big names, this is the proof from the government for them to really see. This is the proof which is undeniable. So everybody who thought that India was probably bluffing and India just killed some cattle, like the Pakistani DG ISPA tried to put it, that's actually egg on their face. So all these people are people who are known for terrorism, and all the ustads of terrorism have been laid down, to the ground. They've actually been dug deep in the ground, like you were explaining yesterday, 6 feet below the ground, for the acts of terrorism they're trying to do, for acts of bleeding the innocents is something which, of course, we say that karma is a big karma is the only reality. We say that in no uncertain terms, and this, of course, this is the lesson that has been taught to the terrorists. And Rajnath Singh said very, very clearly कि कम से कम 100 लोग मरे हैं और गिनती अभी भी जारी है और गिनती अब पाकिस्तान को सुनाई देगी. They've been completely in denial of this, but how will they be able to deny these names who have been killed?
Well, clearly all of this information now being made public, viewers, because we've very close to the aims that we set out. Let me bring in Akash. Akash, all of this information, the footage, the names, India has got very close to the end game. Perhaps now we're reassessing what more, how much more, but that's a different matter. Akash.
Rahul, one may wonder that how Indian agencies knew that these individuals were living there and, are there at that point in time. There is when, intelligence plays a major role. And in this entire operation, we have been told that intelligence agencies played a major role. And at this point in time, while we have got these 5 names.
Okay, I think we just lost you there for a few moments, viewers. I'm just going to quickly try and get Payal back. That's the visuals, viewers, on the right of your screens. This is Bhavalpur. that was wrecked, completely wrecked from the top, using a group of munitions. Payal, if you're there with me, let's just go over these names. Mudassar Khadian Khas, Mudassar Abu Jundal. Abu Jundal is a name that has come up many times, LET in charge of Markaz Taibe. This is the Mudrike. So he was in charge of the seminary, Payal.
Well, absolutely. All these names are undeniable names. All these names are names. Remember on day one, Rahul, when we reported that India done surgical strikes, or beg your pardon, precise strikes on Pakistan, many people thought it was a laughing matter as well. But we knew very, very well that there was specific intelligence which was available to our forces, special intelligence that was available to all the agencies, and on the basis of that, we had attacked as well. And much of that credit, Rahul, in this case, whether you accept it or not, needs to go to this one man called Ajit Doval, who knows many things about Pakistan that most of us probably have not even known. So that's something that is his biggest strength, and that's actually come to the fore as well. And that's the reason multiple times the person who's running to 7 Lokriyan Marg and briefing the Prime Minister, and even on the day of the strike was briefing the Prime Minister, was Mr. Doval himself as well. A lot of intelligence gathering done, and that's not been done overnight. India knew that it was in their destiny to expose Pakistan before the world, and these names are completely undeniable. With what face will Pakistan now show the world and cry foul that they've been targeted? Pakistan has been playing dirty tricks all along, not just across the border, still trying to kill innocent civilians, are trying to lie to their own people that they've been attacked, are trying to lie, saying that their airspace is being shut, but
Yes.
that has also been amply in fact they've been
So
defaced by the Indian establishment.
If you don't mind, Payal, I just want to quickly bring in, just hold on with me, just trying to get Akash in to get certain specific detail about these individuals. Akash, can you break down this list? 5 of these individuals are now 6 feet under.
Yes, and in fact, when it is about the specifics, so, I want to just highlight the third name, that is, Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist Mohammed Yusuf Azhar. Rahul, he is the brother-in-law of Masood Azhar. He was wanted in IC-814 hijacking case. And, he is someone who has carried out multiple attacks. In fact, he was someone, working as a handler there, sitting in Pakistan and, was directing individuals to carry out attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. This is one big victory, in fact, this particular name. Then Khalid, he is Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist, and in fact, he was also killed in these strikes. This man, was responsible for multiple terrorist attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. We know that how, in 2023, we have seen a number of incidents in Jammu and Kashmir, specifically south of Pir Panjal range. And, at that point in time, we have seen that how our forces have, in fact, have got several casualties and, in fact, have lost their men. But this time around, when we are saying that we have killed these 5 terrorists, it's a big victory for our armed forces, Rahul.
Just stay on with me, because who we are seeing now on the left of your screens, viewers, is one of those terrorists. This man is a person who was wanted, in fact, in connection with the IC-814. On the left of your screens, viewers. Akash, can you really talk us through a little bit about this individual, Yusuf Azhar?
Yes, he was the individual who was in fact responsible for not just several sort of attacks, but in fact, was recruiting individuals here in Pakistan. He was someone, who was in connection with, youth of Jammu and Kashmir, was trying to put out, fake posts via different social media platforms and, provocative posts so that, people can get, can come towards him and can come to, implement his agenda of terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes.
And, he was somewhere successful in it. But before, anything else that could have happened, now after Pahalgam, agencies have neutralized this threat. And in fact, along with him, there were multiple terrorists who were killed in these strikes, these 9 precision strikes, that were carried out by Indian armed forces. We were in fact using loiter munitions. We in fact, went to those particular targets, locked those targets, and we had credible, evidence and in fact intelligence that how, these terrorists are residing in these buildings. And then we hit those targets.
We hit those
now
targets.
We are learning, in fact.
Now, I just stay on with me. I want to also bring back Payal. Payal broke this story just a few moments back. Payal, look, let's just focus our attentions. Look what has happened. In the last 11 years, the Prime Minister inherited a fragile 5 economy. He's turned it around, made it a top 5 economy. Payal, when he started out, the UPA was saying we didn't have money to buy arms. Today, we are manufacturing our own arms. I think we have forgotten the journey to this point. To the top viewers of your screens, the top right-hand side of your screens, Payal is there with us. To the top right-hand side of your screens, you just saw viewers pictures there. Those are the funeral procession of all these Markazis from the JEM. Now, Payal, so let's give credit where it's due. As you've said, this is Ajit Doval's revenge. Payal, let's bring her on. Payal, this is Ajit Doval's revenge. There is no doubt about this. The Prime Minister has had a vision. We have come to this moment because of the Prime Minister's vision. This has taken 11 years in gestating this vision, but how brilliantly today we are poised, and Pakistan cannot believe what it has seen.
Well, of course, there's no doubt whatsoever. In 2008, when the deadly Mumbai attacks took place, it took you 11 years to even bring one of the perpetrators to justice in India. That happened under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Rahul, when in the past, in the last many years, and not that Pakistan has bled us for the first time that you've seen, people actually rallying behind an elected leader, essentially saying that he's done this in Uri, he's done this in he's done it in Balakot, he will do it again as well. The rallying sound of all the public, especially those who had lost their loved ones, always were of the opinion that yes, Modi will avenge the revenge. That's something which Prime Minister Narendra Modi is an image that he's created about himself and delivered the task as well. Now, you've seen that India has come, from a very bad political paralysis state to a country that the whole world looks forward to as well. In fact, let me tell our viewers, Rahul, in the last, meeting which we had for the all-party delegation, back then also Rajnath Singh told the members of the various political parties that everybody was questioning whether India would be able to have its defense preparedness in place. There are multiple, production, centers of defense equipment who've come forward proactively, told the government, we don't care for profit, we don't care for any advance money. If you want us to produce, we will produce this because brand India and Team India is larger than anything else. When have you seen this kind of sentiment really come forward as far as brand India is concerned? That credit undoubtedly must be given to this one man, Narendra Modi, who's been able to teach Pakistan a lesson. And as he vowed that we will be teaching our lesson, that kabhi kisi ne nahi sikhaya hoga, aisa sabak unko sikhayenge. That's the largest sentiment. So, obviously people...
He expressed that sentiment in Bihar, did he not? He said that, look, we're going to bring unimaginable punishment to bear. Viewers, there will be still some who will carp and say, what about Dawood? What about Hafiz Saeed? What about, Maulana Masood? Not Maulana, actually, Masood Azhar. This is not a Maulana. Religion doesn't teach you this, viewers. This is Masood Azhar. Where are these three? Why haven't we still got them? There are a whole lot of people, Payal, and you know this.
No Ustad teaches anybody to kill anyone, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And there are a whole lot of other people in this country, viewers. And Payal, please feel free to weigh in on this, who questioned the Prime Minister when he went out there and did a deal, government-to-government deal with the French to get the Rafale. They said that he had sold this country down the toilet, that we were overpaying. In fact, just yesterday, there was a Congress handle that put out that stuff once again. There were people who said he's an effete Prime Minister, he talks more than he delivers. There were people who said that Pulwama was a false flag operation. They went on television. They are being quoted today in Pakistan by the Pakistani ISPR. There are many people who doubted the Prime Minister's intention. Today, viewers, and Payal, please correct me, do you think the PM has sent out a clear message that all the stuff you said about me was propaganda? I have walked the talk. Or am I exaggerating here?
Rahul, the dealers and the dealing age is far gone. That's probably the problem that multiple people now really have, because the dealers' doors are completely shut by this man, Narendra Modi. When in the last 10 years have you, in fact, come out and seen any proof coming to the fore as well? Of course, corruption cases have been there. Defense deals have always been a thing of the past. But nothing of that sort even coming to the fore right now as well. And for all those people who are damning the Indian government for the S-400 that was being bought, look what results it's delivering right now. It's like the Sudarshan Chakra that everybody was explaining through the visuals yesterday,
And the
that has actually
Akash,
saved India.
homemade Akash. People, when they said, oh, Modi, when Modi declared before, I remember, COVID, that we are doing Atmanirbhar Bharat, they all mocked him. They said, oh, this is going back to import substitution days. You know, this is the nationalization of industry, this, that, the other. Today, look at this, viewers. We have pummeled Pakistan. The Rawalpindi is the bastion of the Pakistani army. Payal, this takes a lot of doing.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, while we all really appreciate that all the political parties are speaking in one tone, but they've realized the results that Narendra Modi's government has been able to deliver. There's no charity even in the business of politics, Rahul.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there's more breaking news coming in, viewers. Look, we're going to keep these visuals on one side, viewers, because what we now know is that 5 high-value assets of the terror ecosystem have been pummeled. The Vice Admiral is here with us. The generals are here with us. Now we are being told that bomb-like debris has been found in Damtal, a few kilometers away from Pathankot. Now remember, viewers, even as we are speaking, Pakistan is still not completely backed off. So they're still irritating us with their cheap Chinese drones and their defunct machines. They're trying here, they're trying there, because they want a face saver. As we speak, there is a meeting going on between the President of Pakistan and the Prime Minister of Pakistan. The two civilians, viewers who are not in control, they're clueless. In fact, no one is even picking up the phone and speaking to them. They're talking to each other. Rubio calls, but Rubio calls the military, the general who's actually in charge of Pakistan, which tells you everything. So they're sitting there and they're congratulating the Pakistani army, trying to look very self-indulgent and important, while all the decisions are being taken by a general who is completely absent. Our tri-service chiefs are visible. They are holding meetings. They are situation planning. They are auditing. They are assessing. The CDS is visible. The RM is visible. Yesterday you saw the RM and all the others in their combat gear smiling away because they know. Admiral, they know. They know that they've got Pakistan now on the ropes. The conversation we are having in government now, I'm quite sure, is whether this is enough. Should we de-escalate? The world is getting a little jittery. We'll have some pressure. Tomorrow someone will say that let's impose some sanctions. Now, have we done enough or do we need to do a little bit more? Please, let's get into that conversation.
I would say, Rahul, that time has come that before we tell Pakistan, you have lost, show your bloody white flag.
Yeah.
We should actually pulverize them further.
Okay.
And make sure that, it does not, raise his head. But one big terrorist, you forgot, you took all the names, Mullah Munir. I mean, he was speaking like a mullah. He was not like a general in chief of army staff that day.
Yes.
Certainly mullah. He is giving sermons on Islam. And, all that he said was totally wrong. He talked about, there is the two-nation theory. Islam and Hindu. I mean, it is all flawed. Otherwise, we would not have created Bangladesh. How did Bangladesh got created? That's an Islamic country, so he broke off from them. So that whole thing is quite flawed. And these guys have got some muck in their head, which needs to be taken out this time. And Mullah Munir, he must, I'm telling you, shortly, he will get probably replaced by somebody or he will get eliminated by somebody. In fact, it was his totally personal project. It was not supported by the corps commanders, and it is quite possible that he will be replaced soon. Rahul.
Okay, I just also, before General Saab, before I come out to you, I'm going to come out to you in just about 3 minutes. Arunima is joining us very quickly for more updates on the story that has just been filed. Arunima, please go ahead.
So, now government has managed to get a hold about who all have been eliminated in the counter-offensive that was carried out after Pahalgam. We have a list of terrorists who have been identified. This list, I can't see the name of Rauf Azhar, and agencies are indicating that he could well be in the military hospital there. But the names that I can confirm to you, Mudassar Khadian Khas alias Abu Jundal, he's one of India's most wanted, responsible for most of the terror attacks that Lashkar-e-Toiba has carried out. It's believed that he was in charge of Markaz-e-Taiba and Murid-ke. One of the first attacks that was carried out by India after Pahalgam was at Markaz-e-Taiba, Murid-ke, and there was a guard of honor that was given to him for his funeral. So this is being confirmed. His funeral prayer was held in a government school led by Hafiz Abdul Rauf. You must have seen that picture. It was released by Indian government also. So he is one of those who's confirmed to have been killed. Hafiz Muhammad Jamil from the Jaish-e-Mohammed. He is the elder brother-in-law of Maulana Masood Azhar. Masood Azhar confirmed that he had lost 10 members of his family, all from his terror factory. So Hafiz Muhammad Jalil is the second person on that list. Muhammad Yusuf Azhar, his affiliation too is with the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the second brother-in-law of Masood Azhar. He was a man wanted in the IC 814 hijack case. So he has been eliminated after that strike at Bahawalpur as well.
Right.
Khalid alias Abu Aqsa from Lashkar-e-Toiba and Muhammad Hassan Khan. These are all top terrorists who have been identified by the intelligence agencies, and they're now telling us, government officials are now telling us that at least these 5 most wanted are no more. They have been killed after the conspiracy that was carried out in Pahalgam. In India's counter-offensive, these 5 have been eliminated.
Well, General Prasad and General Kohli are still with us. Viewers, we're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we're going to go back to them because we have to ask some fundamental questions now on the moves ahead. We come back. Stay with us. Don't go away.
An escalation. I mean, Pakistan is willing to risk attacking your capital. Fortunately, we were able to disable it to make sure before it hit Delhi. But what if it had hit Delhi? And how do you know it's an armed conventional or is it a nuclear armed missile? So Pakistan is testing the limits of India's patience, and therefore any response henceforth will be measured. But that measure will also go up several notches.
Well, again, since you're talking about that, well, let me report 2 other developments. Sirens on in Jammu and another explosion heard in Srinagar. So let's just hope that everything is, everyone is out of harm's way. Akash joining us for more on these details. Ishan Wani reporting another explosion heard in Srinagar. Akash, the sirens in Jammu and the explosion heard in Srinagar. Yes.
Yes, we have been hearing the sirens. In fact, I'll try to give you some natural ambience. There you have the sirens, and these sirens are on since just a while back. We heard the AD gun sound destroying one drone, and I was in fact reporting that, Rahul. In fact, in Srinagar, we have been hearing about similar activities. So it seems like Pakistan is still not, in fact, letting its
big
men
news coming
rest
in, Akash,
from the sort of
big news
activities
coming
that they
in.
have.
First phone call between India and Pakistan. The DGMOs are talking. Now, just break this down for us. DGMOs talking. What does this mean?
Yes, Director General Military Operations. We have seen that how their offices connected last Tuesday. But Manoj Gupta has been reporting that one hotline connection has been established, in fact, today. And Pakistan wants de-escalation. This is a big news coming in fact, Rahul. Pakistan wants de-escalation. Situation is, in fact, bad in the country, and Pakistan wants to meet Indian side. This was the connection between the DGMOs on both the sides, and they have spoken on hotline. DGMO, remember, is someone...
Viewers, what are we seeing on our screens? We are seeing yet again the A-team, viewers, the A-team of the Indian defense establishment, the think tank, is back again. Yesterday at 8:30 in the evening, these pictures were released of a meeting yesterday. I had said that something big is in the air, and we now know what happened. They're back again. This is Pakistan's worst nightmare. It takes a lot of political courage, conviction, viewers. That's the word. To go ahead, take the risks. This is a Prime Minister who's walking the talk. In Bihar, he said that I am going to inflict unimaginable punishment. When he went to Andhra Pradesh and when he met Chandrababu Naidu, Naidu turned around and said, I have seen pain in the Prime Minister's eyes. That was the first time he said that he's committed to the Prime Minister. He is pledging all support to the Prime Minister. Since then, viewers, the Prime Minister has executed this plan to perfection. He obviously has a large number of options that are presented to him, but it is left to his judgment to pick the option that works best. What step at the escalation ladder? Decisive decision making by the Prime Minister. You can see him in complete command and control there. I want to bring in Arun Dhata. Arun Dhata, this is an important day. On the left and on the right is the think tank. That man, Ajit Doval, hangs in the background, is very understated, gets very little credit, but has single-handedly broken the back of Pakistan by hitting it at the spots where it hurts the most. And he knows Pakistan like no one else in this country because he has been there. He had infiltrated Pakistan. He was in Pakistan. He knows how to speak Arabic and Urdu and all the languages that make anyone functional in Pakistan, go undercover in Pakistan. Arun Dhata, over to you, sir. Arun, can you hear me?
That's right, Rahul, and that's the reason why you see the presence of NSA with Prime Minister each time. Whenever there is an important decision which Prime Minister Modi has to take either in the country or outside, you will find NSA Ajit Doval standing by him. And once again, in last couple of days, we've seen the presence of Ajit Doval here at 7 LKM, not only with the other officials, but we have seen that the separate meetings between NSA and Prime Minister Modi, that shows the confidence that he carries of Prime Minister Modi. And in these visuals, we can see that once again, Prime Minister is reviewing the situation with the Tri-Services Chief. You have CDS Anil Chauhan. You also have Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Now, we know that India is giving measured and brute response to Pakistan. And one important thing for which India is preparing at this point is that, and they've been saying that they have not started the escalation. They are only responding for the escalation of Pakistan, and that response should be in a manner that Pakistan gets that befitting reply. And perhaps that's the reason why you see that things are changing in Pakistan. The way their leaders are speaking, their foreign affairs minister is now in fact talking about the de-escalation. This is because of the measured and the calculated and the hard response that India is giving. And India is ensuring, Rahul, that no civilian casualty happens. And that's the reason why you see when Pakistan violates ceasefire and hit at the civilians, India could do the same thing. But India has been very, very measured. They are not targeting civilian areas, only military establishment or the terror outfit's infrastructure there. That's what India has been maintaining from the very first day. And today, of course, as India is responding to the Pakistan's misadventure, we are seeing Prime Minister Modi is chairing yet another review meeting here. Yesterday, we saw the review meeting happening in the evening. And subsequently, we saw the response that India gave, the way India targeted their, the military establishment there, in different parts. And that is because of Pakistan's retaliation. And once again, when you have these people sitting in a room with Prime Minister Modi, we will, of course, have multiple things being discussed in this meeting because, of course, they will be giving, the three Tri-Services chief were there in the war room in South Block in the morning for 3 hours, and they will, of course, giving the first-hand, information to the Prime Minister Modi. Ajit Doval is there, who's coordinating with everyone, CDS, Tri-Services chief, Rajnath Singh, and here you have the entire team, this core group sitting together and also formulating strategy for further escalation from the Pakistan side. And this time, perhaps, the message would be very clear that you need to bleed them, you need to hit them where they actually get the real pain.
Absolutely. That's the A-team, viewers. The A-team is back. It is strategizing. There are two conversations that most probably could be happening there. General Shankar Prasad, I want to bring you in on this. General Kohli also here with us. General Shankar Prasad, there are two conversations. We are at that inflection point. Should we go further? Should we actually recalibrate? Is Pakistan going to strike again? That intelligence would have been brought to the table by Ajit Doval. What is Pakistan thinking? They would have tapped into Pakistan. They would have known that this particular escalation that Pakistan attempted and India's retaliation. How has it gone down there? Has the Pakistan military establishment decided to back off? If that is the information that is coming, India will not respond. But if they believe that there is still a way to go, that General Munir still hasn't understood what he needs to understand, and that there are some plans afoot, then how to actually react and respond. Remember, on the sidelines of the meeting in the morning, viewers, the message that was sent out was that India is only going to respond tit for tat. So if you come after our air bases, we're going to come after yours. And may the best person win. Siddhant is there with us. General Kohli is also here with us. Siddhant, over to you. Yes. Siddhant, can you hear me? Okay, we may not have Siddhant there. General Kohli, so this is the conversation. Where should we leave it? Where should we go from here? Should we respond only to what Pakistan does, or should we now perhaps do something which is proactive, preemptive, rather than reactive? What do you think?
Rahul, firstly, whatever government has done and whatever we have achieved is absolutely commendable. The job which was done on the night of 6/7, the precise attacks at their terrorist camps, it is unprecedented. They never expected. It's a great feat for the entire country. There's no doubt in this. Having said that, you see, at the moment, our conditions for us are very, very favorable. We should not let go of this opportunity. Though, of course, the right decision will be taken by the government. They have all the inputs with them. Some kind of, when I say the lessons, it means their military has to be hit. Let Munir come, or let their senior officers come and say, okay, please stop it. So that the kind of larger than life image army has created in Pakistan, that image should go away. That only will get us peace for few years at least. And also I want to say something. We are also being observed by Bangladesh. You see, they are also trying a number of things in northeast. They should know what has happened to Pakistan, who is their elder brother, so that they also behave with us. Otherwise, Yunus and other people have also been making very irresponsible statements. We are also being seen by China. China is also observing what kind of equipment we are using, how reliable their own equipment are. So, at the moment, if I am there, like you say, I need to recommend to the government, I will say we need to go further ahead and more punitive sort of deterrent for these people so that they learn a lesson. Because, and at the same time, we don't get so much involved that we forget our aim, which is of Viksit Bharat, because our country is absolutely different than the Pakistan.
Absolutely. We don't want a hyphenation, viewers. We don't want to go back 10 decades. That's where Pakistan is right now. They go with a begging bowl internationally. We have become the 5th largest. In 2 years, we're going to be the 3rd largest economy. By 2050, we're aspiring to be the top economy. And if we continue down this road, we will be. Of course, viewers, the entire edifice of Viksit Bharat is being laid in the last few years. And many people, viewers, have been going out there and saying that, look, nothing is being done, nothing is being done. Well, the best way to prove is to let the bat talk. And the Prime Minister has not just talked, viewers. He has delivered. I want to just show you some pictures from Rahim Yar Khan. We're just going to split this screen. The Prime Minister holding this meeting. This is the inner core. This is the think tank, the military think tank, the A-team. Ajit Doval is probably bringing documents there to present the Prime Minister an audit of what was done. Remember, he met him for about 1 hour, 20 minutes this morning to the one-on-one meeting. That must have been, this is what we did, sir. This is what you asked us to do. And I just want to show, not this photograph, but the photograph of Rahim Yar Khan, the airbase that was blasted. We just broke those pictures a short while back. All those pictures, that video evidence would have been shown to the Prime Minister. You wanted us to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is what we have been able to do. This is not what we couldn't do. Then they would have said that, look, what now do you think is Pakistan's response going to be? They would have had the military intelligence supply them with those inputs. Let's split the screen, please. They would have had military intelligence supply them with that detailing. they would have said, okay, sir, this is what we are picking up. This is what Pakistan now expects to do. This is the retaliatory steps we think they're going to take. This is where they're going to hit us. Remember, this is an active operation because Operation Sindoor 4.0 or 5.0, whatever you want to call it, is still actually taking place on our side. Even now, with drone attacks in Pathankot, in Srinagar, there have been alarms that have been sounded, etc., etc. So this is still a hot LOC. Now, viewers, we've already said we are going to respond to you correspondingly, tit for tat. So if you're going to hit us X place, an airbase, we are going to hit you on your airbase. Clearly, we've been more successful. We have the better defense military systems. The Pakistanis don't. They've relied on Chinese infrastructure, which hasn't quite paid off. Now, I don't know why, viewers. Maybe they're not very good at using it. I don't know. But the world is studying this. In fact, let me tell you that the first day, many people are saying that India had scrambled more than 80 jets. And the other side had also scrambled several jets. And the biggest dogfight had taken place in Indian skies. That's when we actually went in and took out all those terror targets, viewers, where those top 5 terrorists were killed. And people are studying that to see which equipment, what really works best, the strategies. No one has seen 2 nuclear powers engage like that. And it gives the world all the top militaries an insight. Now, viewers, all that material, the audit would be presented to the Prime Minister. He would be told these are the steps that Pakistan will probably take to in 24 hours. Then he'll be presented a bunch of options, how to counter. Usually you escalate a little more, don't you, sir, than the provocation. India has, of course, been very responsible. Pakistan has done a lot of other stuff, isn't it? Targeting our civilians, etc., which we don't want to do because we are not a rogue army, is it? So I suppose now the next step is to, what should we do next? We know what we have done. Are there any missions that have been unchecked? Number one. Number two, should we use the seas? We've used only the air. Should we use the military? What do you think, sir?
You see the point what you're saying. Raim-Yar Khan, like General Shankar had explained, it is opposite Jaisalmer. It is their 5 corps headquarters. It's a very important place of theirs. And that place has been hit. You don't know, the corps headquarters also must have been hit. And and also, Rahul, this war gaming, what you're talking of, what we should do, what will they do, this goes on at all levels.
Right.
Right from lower formation till higher formation.
Okay.
And only the gist is sort of discussed with the
Right. So the Prime Minister has been given a few options.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying. Okay, let me just go across to Aman Sharma. Aman, this is, again, the A-team of the Indian military establishment, along with the Prime Minister sitting there discussing options, reviewing perhaps the performance, and of course, seeing if all the objectives are being met, where this particular campaign is going. Remember yesterday, Aman, at around 8 o'clock, many people sort of laughed at us because we had put out these visuals and said something is cooking. Clearly, once again, there is a meeting of minds taking place. Options will be presented to the Prime Minister once again, depending on what intelligence is picked up as to how Pakistan is going to respond. Just talk us through this, because at the heart of this are 2 individuals. Let's not forget, the army, of course, the military, of course, the air force, of course, the navy, of course. Without them, we are nothing. But they also require what is known as political backing. They must know that the political establishment has complete faith in them. And the Prime Minister has built us up to the point where the army believes, where the military believes, where the navy believes, where the air force believes it can actually do damage to Pakistan, because it has the tools finally to do it. The will was always there.
Well, absolutely, Rahul. And what we see in these pictures, I would describe is as the top think tank of Operation Sindoor. You know, whenever this think tank has met together, something big has happened. And Prime Minister obviously is taking stock today of what has happened since the wee hours today. See, Rahul, the word that I'm getting from top government officials is that, look, we did not start this war. The war was started by Pakistan. The war was started by Pakistan in Pahalgam on April 22nd. We responded with Operation Sindoor, and we only targeted the terrorist headquarters and the terror infrastructure in Pakistan. But if Pakistan won't stop this war, the war had started, India will surely end it. Eat ka jawab patthar se diya jayega. That's what an official told me, that if Pakistan continues to strike us the way it is, the attempts that they are continuing, India will strike back. Let the US say what it wants to say. Let Saudi Arabia say what it wants to say.
India is very, very clear. The Prime Minister has given operational freedom to the armed forces, not just for Operation Sindoor, but also the operational freedom to strike back at Pakistan if there are 300 to 400 drones fired towards India from.
Okay, a few problems there with Aman. We're going to try, with Aman's connection, we're going to try and reconnect. Aman was making a very important point, viewers. Very, very important points being made by all our panelists and, of course, viewers. Very, very importantly, I'm sure some very important points are being made around that table. Now, viewers, fundamentally, what are we seeing? We're seeing a Pakistan that has found itself completely overwhelmed. General, completely overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
They're completely, they don't know which way to go, which way to look. Rawalpindi. The military cradle of Pakistan hit. And I just want to show you those pictures of Rawalpindi, viewers, the airbase there. Yes. That airbase is probably a very, very important airbase.
Yes, yes, it is.
Perhaps the premier one.
Yes.
Can you talk us through it?
Rawalpindi, Sargodha, these are the bases which are very important, and they have their assets there. And normally they take off from there. When they come, they will launch their fighters. Those are the places they will be using, and they've been using it in the past also.
Yes.
These are the important places. They keep their assets safe, but something I'm sure must have been exposed. In any case, those two things which have happened, suppression of their AD and destruction of their AD, they call it seed and deed. The both things, we've been successful in doing that.
We've been successful in doing that.
In
General Qadian, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, General Qadian. The think tank is back. You can see it. The Prime Minister, the CDS, the three chiefs, the RM, Ajit Doval, all in that room. Now, first of all, just give us a quick review of all the military operations that we have conducted, sir. What has been the thinking? What has been the aim?
For me, Rahul?
Yes, sir. General Qadian, to you, sir. The assessment, your assessment, sir.
Pakistani army is contesting legitimacy. They want to remain in Pakistan. That is the only reason. There is no rationale. India had to react to that barbarous terror attack, which was not the first, but the last, nor is it the last. India made it very clear after the attack. Firstly, the timing of the attack was such that there were no civilians outside and there was a minimum danger of collateral damage. The very next morning, India said, we have only attacked the terror infrastructure. Our action is non-escalatory. That means India had done what it wanted to do. After that, the Pakistanis attacked 15 military targets on the first evening, 26 on the next evening, and they're still continuing. Let's look at the larger picture. Two nuclear powers on the brink of war must be stopped. Unfortunately, today the world does not have a big brother like it happened in the past. America, which is the only power which could have wielded influence, has washed its hands off. If you listen to the vice presidents, he says we have nothing to do with it. European Union is retired.
Yes.
Russia is too involved in its own affairs. The only country that could have wielded influence in Pakistan but is not doing so is China.
Yes.
Pakistan is indebted to China of the 40 billion loan that they've taken, 30% is from China. But China is playing an ambivalent game. It wants to keep India weak, but it's a very dangerous situation. India has still acted very irresponsibly.
Yeah.
Any de-escalation has to start from Pakistan.
Right.
They have escalated.
They have
The
escalated.
onus for
Absolutely.
de-escalation is entirely on them.
And we are getting
If they
feelers.
want to start a
General
war,
Qadian, let me tell you, we are
will be
getting
cowards
feelers.
to pull it back.
We are getting major feelers. The Indian establishment is getting major feelers from Pakistan. They have lost their resolve. Aman Sharma joins me for more on those. Aman, the DGMO is making, the Pakistani DGMO is reaching out. They want talks. They want to de-escalate. They are saying, ho gaya, thank you, you've done enough. I don't know if they're chastened, but we've learned our lesson. Ho gaya, kuch kariye, sir. Ho gaya, don't punish us more. Look at the punishment. Now, that's one. Then the Americans have told us, get back to the table, because after speaking to the general there, they've said, listen, what do you want? And the general, I think, has said, please, can you ask the Indians to come back to the table? So, Aman, are you seeing now perhaps a focused attempt by Pakistan to come back to the table and tell Modi, we made a mistake, sorry, we underestimated you?
See, Rahul, I think India would like to judge Pakistan by its actions and not its words. You know, Pakistan has a long history of duplicity, and India won't really get taken in by what is Pakistan saying now after taking serious reverses. The Indian government, Rahul, is very clear. We never meant to hurt Pakistan. We only meant to hurt the terror infrastructure, the terror headquarters which are functioning from Pakistani soil. And Operation Sindoor was a perfect de-escalatory strike, a very focused strike on just the terror infrastructure on May 7th. It was not on civilian infrastructure. In fact, India did not touch, though it could have, any of the Pakistani military infrastructure on 7th. So Indian strike was a retaliation to the Pahalgam attack, which was the original escalation by Pakistan. But look at what has happened post the 7th. On the night of the 8th, on the night of the 9th, we have seen 300 to 400 drones attack multiple 36 cities in India, including our military targets. On the 8th night, it was through drones, and on 9th night, which is the early today morning, Rahul, there are now fighter jets into the plane. There are ballistic missiles in the picture by Pakistan. It is Pakistan which has upped the ante, trying to attack our Adampur air base, our Sirsa air base, our Udhampur air base. This is complete announcement of almost like war by Pakistan. So who is escalating here? India is very clear. We are not escalating. Our attacks are all de-escalatory. Our strike was de-escalatory. But if Pakistan wants a war, then, you know, the feeling is so be it. We will not step back. We have to defend our territory. If Pakistan will continue with such offensive actions, eat ka jawab patthar se diya jayega, is what one official told me, senior official, saying, if they attack us, we will attack them. We don't care what the US says. We don't care what the Saudi says. Let the US and the Saudi be convincing Asim Munir itself. And you know, this, Rahul, I think this morning call by Rubio to Asim Munir is a dead giveaway that even the US has realized now that it is the Pakistani army which is calling the shots. It is Asim Munir who's not only the mastermind of the Pahalgam strike, but also...
You will laugh at this. You will laugh at this. Look at what is happening in Pakistan. They have completely lost it. The political establishment, the left doesn't know what the right is doing. So if you remember, we broke the story because Reuters reported it. Now, I don't know if Reuters is cooking up facts. You can never know with some of these international news organizations. But they said, Pakistan PM calls meeting of the body that oversees nuclear arsenal, which is the National Command Authority, if you remember. That news went completely viral. Everyone was talking about it. The world's powers started calling us this, that, the other. Now we have the Pakistan defense minister who's come out and said, no meeting of government top nuclear body is scheduled. ये क्या हो रहा है sir? Pakistan में. Left doesn't know what right is doing. Right doesn't know what left is doing. No one knows what each other is doing. No one knows what the army is doing. No one knows what the executive is doing. No one knows what the Baluchis are doing. No one knows what the Pashtuns are doing. No one knows what the Sindhis are doing. It's a complete chaos.
Well, absolutely. And this chaos is being perpetrated by Asim Munir, Rahul. He is the one, you know, I think, as I was saying, Rubio's call to Asim Munir to saying, boss, please de-escalate now, is a dead giveaway that Munir is calling the shots in Pakistan. The nuclear call is just a bogey, Rahul. I was speaking to a top official a few days back, asking him that Pakistan is talking about nuclear weapons, and he recited to me a line of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, you know, from many years back, 2 decades back, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee has said कि अगर पाकिस्तान परमाणु हथियार चलाता है तो भारत का तो कुछ नहीं बिगड़ेगा और पाकिस्तान अगले दिन का सूरज नहीं देख पाएगा. So, you know, that is the line India has always maintained, that this nuclear button is all a bogey. Pakistan also already has suffered extensive damage, you know, hitting Rawalpindi's airbase, Rahul, getting that deep inside Pakistani territory using our fighter jets is a clear signal to Pakistan that if it does not de-escalate now, it will suffer even more serious consequences. And I think this meeting that the Prime Minister has held today with the 3 service chiefs, the CDS, the NSA and the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, the message is very clear that, you know, we will not step back. If Pakistan attacks us, we will respond with equal measure, if not more, and we can go to any extent against the sinister designs of Pakistan. So I think Indian strategy is very, very clear. The US is trying to now suddenly play peacemaker, by calling up Munir and the deputy PM on that side and Mr. Jaishankar on this side. And I think Mr. Jaishankar's answer to Rubio, which he has put out on X, is very, very significant, that India's attack or India's strike has always been measured and de-escalatory. Don't teach us that we are escalating. It is Pakistan which is escalating, and you need to go and teach Pakistan how to step down now, how to get off the ramp.
Okay,
from
some
this
breaking news coming in.
And Asim Munir, if he has...
Well, off ramp, look, I mean, the ramp was out there for him. He didn't take it. He now knows what happens if you don't take the Prime Minister of India seriously, if you don't take India seriously, if you don't take India's armed forces seriously. He now knows that, viewers. More breaking news coming in. Turkish kamikaze drone recovered in village in Nowshera area, Pakistan, targeting civilian areas. Tejinder is there with us for more. Payal is coming in on this. Payal, two big newses that you have to give to us. One, of course, about this, and the other one about the nuclear bluff that Pakistan was calling. But first, this one. Turkish kamikaze drones recovered in Nowshera.
Well, didn't Turkey call up, Pakistan and told them that they're supporting them in their calm and restrained policies, and this is a crisis that Pakistan is trying to manage. Just about yesterday, our forces did inform us that they were very sure that this was Turkish, backed drone system that Pakistan was using.
Okay.
But the forensic examination was on its way, but the proof is now really out, And India, Rahul, is one country which is boosting Turkey's, economy the most. Plenty of Indian visitors go to Azerbaijan and the other places to boost their economy, and this is what we get in return. Shame on Turkey to begin with.
Shame on Turkey to begin with, viewers. That's really what's also, I'm telling you that a large number of tour operators who took Indian tourists to Turkey have started saying that, look, we are not going to now deal with this country. And there's another country also in the Central Asia republics that they don't want to take any tourists to. Let me now go across to Akash. Akash, Pakistan's nuclear bluff. Many news now coming out of Pakistan. The president there meeting the prime minister. You have leaders like the former Pakistan Air Marshal Massoud, who's come out and said we're in a very bad way. What's happening?
Right. So Rahul, I'll come to that. But, first of all, this drone, kamikaze drone, I want to mention here that, sources within the Indian Armed Forces are telling us that at many places they have found these Turkish-made kamikaze drones. Kamikaze drone is basically the suicidal drone. It hits the target and then gets blasted. And in fact, in this particular case, we are learning that it is possibly TV2, though forensic experts are there, who are checking. And in fact, people from the armed forces will be, visiting there and in fact will be checking as to which drone it is. But this is for the first time when these Turkey-made drones are, coming here in the Indian territory. And these drones, in fact, Pakistan and Turkey both are co-producing the munition, if I'm not wrong. Back in 2023, it started. In fact, they inducted these drones in 2022. And then in 2023, they signed some sort of memorandum of understanding. And they have, in fact, started the co-production of munitions for these drones. So it's a big development given the fact that agencies, have thwarted maximum of, these, attacks. And now it is, a slap on the face of those agencies as well, both in Pakistan and in Turkey, that come with claim like, these drones cannot be tracked, cannot be hit, cannot be targeted. This is the air defense of India, that has thwarted these attempts where, these, in fact, drones were trying to hit the target, hit the military installations, and our agencies, our air defense systems, have, in fact, detected and have destroyed these drones.
Okay, well, big news coming out, viewers. Remember, the Turkish role is not one which is very honorable. So let's get in some of our guests and talk about this. Rajiv Dogra, former diplomat, joins us. And, of course, we also have Group Captain Dr. V.N. Jha with us. And we also have, we also have General Qadian, of course, and we have General Sanjay Meston, who's with me in the studio. General Saab, how do you view this next step that the Pakistanis have taken, this decision to still provoke India? Do you think this was made out of a sense of hubris, Or did they really think they had a chance?
I think I would go with your statement. They have done it with due fear and anxiety.
Anxiety?
Yeah. They have not realized what the Indian response would be. Firstly, our Indian response has been too good in terms of our defensive capabilities. Our integrated air command and control structure has been absolute efficient. And we have seen all across, along the 3,300 kilometers of the line of control and the international border, everywhere we have taken on all these drones very effectively. And to the extent some of them have been taken away destroyed by our Zu-23mm guns and L-70, which are very old weapon systems. So these drones have been destroyed effectively, and this reflects the kamikaze drones which have been given by Turkey. And mind you, if you remember, their ship had come, and even in this Noor Khan Air Base, their flights had come, cargo planes had come, so and Karachi airport also. So what I am trying to say is, Turkey is helping them like hell, and this is the same nation whom India has helped when they had the earthquake over there.
Yes.
So anyway, that's a different issue, but I think a good step taken by all the tour operators is we should cancel tourism totally with Turkey, because I wonder why they are supporting Pakistan so much. Because when I was a defense attaché in Afghanistan, I recollect one of the reasons which I assess is the most liked country by the Afghans was India, and the most hated was Pakistan. But what I am surprised is that Turkey also knew this, that we are the most liked. So I think it is out of that vengeance. The Indians were admired in Afghanistan, so let's align with India's enemy, that is Pakistan, and help them. So I think with Turkey we have to be very firm, and it reflects what kind of technology they have, what kind of make they have. They have been effectively destroyed by the Indian systems. Now coming on to our offensive capabilities, I think, Rahul, we have proved it beyond doubt that we are very clear in our strategic targeting. Right from day one, we targeted 9 bases which were harboring these terrorists, all terrorists, and today 5 of them have been declared as killed, the top leaders.
Destroyed.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we
they
have
are
been
6
very
feet under. They're 6 feet under, sir. They're 6 feet under.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we have been very specific in our targeting, and even yesterday's targeting, which has been spoken about today, all these targets, and we have hit the heart of Pakistan, that is Punjab, the heartland, and everywhere, whether it is Rahimyar Khan, whether Noor Khan Air Base, Murid, everywhere we have hit them very, very hard, Sialkot, etc. So the best part is we as a country have hit Punjab, Pakistan, and that is a great victory and achievement for us, because the entire power flows out from Punjab, and Munir's house is very close by, even Shahbaz Sharif's house is very close by to this Noor Khan Air Base, and it is very close to the GHQ of Pakistan.
Yes, I mean, can you imagine? We have struck in the heart of the Pakistani military establishment, Group Captain Dr. Jha. I mean, if these, they live in their ivory towers in their own country and they think that they rule the world, and certainly the subcontinent, they've been told that if they think they can sit in their palaces and they're very safe there, well, India will get you. We can come after you.
Absolutely. There is no doubt at all. And to start with, I must tell you, Operation Sindoor, which ended with its strike at the 7 places and gutting them, was absolutely, with the perfection. There cannot be even any better perfection than what Operation Sindoor was carried out. But that was the end of the resolve that PM Modi had taken to teach a lesson to the jihadi network in Pakistan. That was finished. Now thereafter, Pakistan has mounted a war. Actually, they mounted the war in a limited way on 7th itself.
Yes.
But that India, somehow shrugged off. But 8th and 9th, the type of attack that was mounted, still in some corners of Indian defense, Indian diplomats and diplomatic world abroad, there were talks of violation or gross violation of ceasefire. It was not. It is a war. It was a war, and that is what was going on. That we should have perceived it there, and absolutely our defense system, air defense system, has worked that way and taken neutralized all those threats. There's absolutely no doubt.
Okay.
But there is one thing that I have, Indian armed forces is known worldwide for its proficiency, for its efficiency, and for its impact. Military doctrine is essentially the one in which you neutralize the enemy to an extent that they are unable to mount an attack onto you. Having seen Pakistani resolve on 8th and 9th, and even today, they continue mounting those attacks, and we know from which all bases they are mounting the attack. I'm somehow, I'm glad and I'm proud that Indian Armed Forces is retaliating. But gone are the days that you retaliate, you ke jawab diya. Rahul, we are in New India. Herein we have got the capability to put the enemy onto the mat. And these people, from where the attacks are being mounted, those spots are being monitored by the Cartosat-3 in the space and many other assets. We know pinpoint, we know the exact coordinate where from it is there. I'm slightly puzzled why our strategic command with the conventional weapons are not able to neutralize those places, because they should stop. They should shit in their pants before launching any more attacks.
Okay, very fruity language, very colorful language there. Let's abjure that. I understand, sir, that passions are running high. Indians are feeling very confident, but confidence is also something that must be espoused, must be eschewed rather. Why? Because sometimes overconfidence leads to mistakes. So we don't want to make mistakes. We have been an extremely responsible and professional armed force. Jun Isomura is here with us, Senior Fellow, the Hudson Institute and former advisor to Shinzo Abe, a great friend of the Prime Minister's, a leader himself, Shinzo Abe, who revived the idea of the Quad, great friend of India. And I want to go straight across to Mr. Isomura. Mr. Isomura, how do you evaluate India's response? I know that there is, of course, concern globally because there are these two nuclear powers that are, I won't call it a conflict, but it has, by another names, taken on the shape of a conflict. Let's be honest about it. Since no one has declared it as such, I'm not going to use that term, but call it what you may. India has acted very responsibly, very professionally. We've targeted terror infrastructure, and now we are restricting ourselves to targeting their military infrastructure only because they decided to cross the line and attack ours. They had a off-ramp option which they could have taken. They haven't taken it. They've given twice the benefit of the doubt to take that off-ramp option, but they haven't. How do you see this shaping up now?
Thank you. Actually, it looks like it's rather difficult to talk between India and Pakistan directly. So I hope that the China. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
And China and Russia, Putin and Xi Jinping, they are expecting they work between India and Pakistan,
right,
as soon as possible. And the situation now, India is very, very important because of the Trump's tax issue, and the China facing quite difficulties, and the many U.S. companies in China, they are trying to extend from China to India. So India is very, very important situation today. So India concerned as soon as possible to stop the war, and I'm expecting that China and Russia to intermediate between India and Pakistan. Thank you.
Well, that's very interesting. Siddhant, let me bring you in because there has been a conversation between the Saudi foreign minister, who is also interlocuting with the Pakistani counterpart, as well as Dr. Jaishankar. So Saudi Arabia trying to play some sort of a role. Can you elaborate on this? What do you know?
Right, Rahul, US and Saudi Arabia both are giving efforts to de-escalate. In fact, there have been conversations since morning. First, Marco Rubio spoke to Asim Munir, then Marco Rubio spoke to Minister Jaishankar. Then we're getting to know that the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia held talks with both Ishaq Dar and Foreign Minister Jaishankar. And in fact, the day before yesterday, Deputy Saudi Foreign Minister was in New Delhi. In fact, his convoy was spotted near 7 LKM. Though the photos were not released by the Indian side, but we've been told that called on Prime Minister Modi yesterday. He was in Islamabad, met Shehbaz Sharif and Asim Munir. Also, there is something which I would like to highlight here, Rahul, if you allow me to.
Of course.
That on the very first day when these calls were made, when US and Saudi Arabia, when they contacted India first because they wanted to condemn the attacks and perhaps they extended full support to India. But you see, today, these calls were first made to Pakistan because now they are telling Pakistan to de-escalate because they have also realized that it is Pakistan which is escalating. And this is the reason that, Marco Rubio also decided to speak directly to Asim Munir. Imagine Rahul, Secretary of State, NSA of United States, is speaking to an army chief of Pakistan. And the only reason for it is that because the Americans have understood that this person is the perpetrator and he is calling the shots and he is behind the nefarious designs. So, Marco Rubio, I'm told that he blasted at Asim Munir and he has been very clearly told to de-escalate and perhaps end this nefarious designs that he has put in place from last 3 weeks. So, message is very clear. When it was to support India, to extend support to India, the calls came first to India. Perhaps Indian Foreign Minister, in fact, President Trump spoke to Prime Minister Modi, if you remember, on the very first day. But when it comes to de-escalation, then the calls are first going to Pakistan. And perhaps Pakistan is very clearly being told that look, there should not be any further de-escalation. Otherwise, Pakistan will meet the consequences. This is perhaps what I could interpret at this point in time.
Right. So obviously, powers that enjoy good relations in both capitals are now injecting themselves to try and build some sort of confidence between the two sides to return to the path of total peace. Well, India will have to take that call independently of the pressure. India is in that position now, viewers, where it doesn't really depend on anyone else to determine its own destiny. So it can very well tell the Americans that, look, we haven't achieved our strategic objectives. And we need to proceed with this operation, see it to its logical conclusion, ensure that we enforce deterrence to the point that Pakistan doesn't repeat these, what should one call it, bestial and barbaric acts again, ever again, viewers. So quite clearly, you're going to have the Indian establishment sit down and assess where they are with regards to their objectives, which is to enforce deterrence on Pakistan, lasting, sustainable deterrence. Of course, viewers, don't ever forget that there are a large number of non-kinetic actions that have also been taken. So we have held in abeyance the Indus Water Treaty. We have lowered the diplomatic connect. We have strangled them as far as trade is concerned. We have called for international sanctions. We have also, viewers, very, very cleverly, and this is something that I think the government needs to be credited with, begun a campaign to also bring pressure to bear upon Pakistan's allies. So you have another whole set of options that are being pressed into service to disincentivize any further action by Pakistan. But kinetic options cannot be taken off because they have the most stilling effect. They have the most salutary, in some ways, punitive effects. Now, viewers, government sources have told us that Turkish kamikaze drones that are recovered in the village in Nowshera area, Pakistan, targeting civilian areas, this is given by government sources, clearly shows that Turkey's hand, and this is why things could and will go bad between India and Turkey. This will have an impact on trade ties. Projected trade is about $20 billion. They depend on us for many food items. India could now cut this. As of now, trade is about $8.5 billion. We export oil, steel, machinery. This is important for them. Pallavi joins us for more on this. Pallavi, we also opened a line, of course, to the Greeks and others who have a problem with Turkey. So we are aware now, aren't we?
You know, Rahul, war times also shows who are your friends and who are your enemies. And this war certainly seems to have kind of shown and exposed Turkey. You know, if you remember a few months back, there was earthquake and Prime Minister was the first leader, the first world leader who launched Operation Dost and gave out huge amount of assistance as far as Turkey was concerned. So the last thing India expected is that Turkey is going to side with our enemy and someone who's clearly targeted their innocence with us. Now, these pictures which have been put out by way of government sources very clearly shows Turkish marked drones, and they've been found in the Nowshera area, and essentially they were meant to target the civilians. So it's a double whammy really for Turkey. One, siding with a terrorist or rogue nation like Pakistan, and second, of course, is that also being a part of an operation in which the innocent lives could be lost. Very quickly, this is going to have its impact. I mean, Indian government sources are very clearly telling us that, you know, now is not the time immediately, but hum to definitely will teach Turkey a lesson. And teaching Turkey a lesson is again going to be in terms of a strain, diplomatic strain between the two countries. Trade ties could be one of the first to be affected. As of now, it's $8.5 billion. That's the kind of trade we see between the two countries. And, you know, just recently they had come to an agreement of bringing it up to $20 billion. It's not going to go up to that. Turkey depends on us for their imports more than we depend on them for our imports. So whether it's a machinery, steel, oil parts, oil, mineral oil, all of that Turkey depends on India, and they actually get very, very good rates. So therefore, this is something which is going to see the first fallout, because something which we can never ever accept is that those who are siding with Pakistan, and India is watching it very, very carefully.
Absolutely, and that's very, very important. I think India, viewers, has realized that it's calling the shots in this equation. Pallavi, correct me if I'm wrong. We also have a situation where the Prime Minister is meeting with his think tank. The Prime Minister is now deciding the options, because if the world is asking India and Pakistan to de-escalate, he has to take a decision whether enough cost has been imposed, number one, on Pakistan. Number two, if a lasting deterrence has been in some ways imposed on Pakistan. So these are decisions that the Prime Minister will be taking. Of course, if over the next 24 hours Pakistan doesn't escalate, then maybe we can extract an undertaking, though in the past they have never really worked. So I think the ball really now firmly is in India's court. We've got the upper hand. Would you agree?
Absolutely, and I think the narrative is very important to point out to our viewers. There's a difference in the kind of action that we're seeing between the two countries. While India is specifically targeting the terror hideout, Pakistan is trying to target our civilians and innocents once again, and this is something we're not going to keep quiet about. The Prime Minister at the Bihar rally had said two important things: कठोर जवाब देंगे और जहां से उनका आतंकवाद शुरू होता है उसको हम नष्ट करेंगे. So if you're looking at the strategy of our government, that is exactly the cue which has been given by the Prime Minister to his team of experts and advisors. Target and end it, nip it at the bud. That is what we are doing. Very quickly, when we're talking about Turkey, I think there's a sense of hurt and disappointment as far as the IMF issue is concerned. This bailout we talked about yesterday, India, of course, has reapproached IMF, is going to make them to tell them to rethink. But this whole conscience that it may be your money, aapka paisa, aap kharch karo apne hisab se, is a narrative which many are peddling in favor of IMF. But what India is telling them is that don't you also have to ensure that your money does not become blood money, and that's exactly what the IMF seems to have done.
Okay, well, thanks indeed, Pallavi. Thanks very much for that comprehensive update. I want to go across to Group Captain now. Group Captain, go ahead, sir. You want to make a point?
Yes, Rahul, 3 points. Firstly, as far as the Turkey is concerned, we should have no doubt that Turkey's rants have not been in isolation. You recall their speech, their PM speech in UN. They have been against India. They have been favoring Pakistan. So you should have not any doubt. Secondly, Turkey and Pakistan are the competitors among the most radical Islamic states. They intend to, overdo the other. We have seen Turkey's role with Azerbaijan in the war against Armenia. The same Fatah-II drones, what they have given now to Pakistan. The same was being used against Armenia, and it was destructive. But because Armenia didn't have the air defense system, credible air defense system. Second point, you said your words, if Pak refrains from indulgence in the future. Don't we know Pakistan?
Yes.
The moment the partition had happened, Pakistani soldiers were in form of the Qabilis and they were fighting. Started from there. Think of 1965, think of 1971, and all these days that Pakistani soldiers or under them the radicals, Islamic jihadists, they have been bleeding us for a long time.
That's true. You can't trust Pakistan. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. Give me slightly more. This is the second point. So you can't trust them that they will not carry out. They will carry out, and then still they will know it has been carried out by the non-state actors.
Exactly.
This is the second and last point. Look, till now, entire world is so considerate for Pakistan only for one reason, that Pakistan has been ramping up that world.
Yes.
Look, this is the high time PM Modi should call for a meeting of one thing. If this rogue nation called Pakistan indulges into the N button, if I die, if you die, leave this decision with the armed forces so that Atal Bihari's word is met. That on the next day, Pakistan should not remain on the map of the world.
Okay. Well,
we promised that we will not strike first, but we have also promised that the retaliation will be disproportionate. And Pakistan is a small state.
Yeah.
You just have to knock out, some 6, 7 odd cities of them, and Pakistan is done with.
Yes.
So
Well,
these
well,
things should be.
Look. Let's pull ourselves back from the brink. Let's not go there. Those are things that one shouldn't be contemplating, and one hopes that sense has dawned on the general there. But breaking news coming in, viewers. Just a quick one before I take the break. There has been a big reaction coming out from a former air officer in Pakistan. I'll come to that after this short break. Don't go away.
चलो बेटे टाइम
An escalation. I mean, Pakistan is willing to risk attacking your capital. Fortunately, we were able to disable it to make sure before it hit Delhi. But what if it had hit Delhi? And how do you know it's an armed conventional or is it a nuclear armed missile? So Pakistan is testing the limits of India's patience, and therefore any response henceforth will be measured. But that measure will also go up several notches.
Well, again, since you're talking about that, well, let me report 2 other developments. Sirens on in Jammu and another explosion heard in Srinagar. So let's just hope that everything is, everyone is out of harm's way. Akash joining us for more on these details. Ishan Wani reporting another explosion heard in Srinagar. Akash, the sirens in Jammu and the explosion heard in Srinagar. Yes.
Yes, we have been hearing the sirens. In fact, I'll try to give you some natural ambience. There you have the sirens, and these sirens are on since just a while back. We heard the AD gun sound destroying one drone, and I was in fact reporting that, Rahul. In fact, in Srinagar, we have been hearing about similar activities. So it seems like Pakistan is still not, letting its
big
men
news coming in,
rest from the
Akash.
sort of
Big news
activities that
coming
they
in.
have.
First phone call between India and Pakistan. The DGMOs are talking. Now, just break this down for us. DGMOs talking. What does this mean?
Yes, Director General Military Operations. We have seen that how their offices connected last Tuesday. But Manoj Gupta has been reporting that one hotline connection has been established, in fact, today. And Pakistan.
Viewers, Operation Sindoor has taken a decisive turn. We're at a point of inflection. The Prime Minister has just met the entire think tank of the internal core group that he always goes to, led by Ajit Doval and the CDS, just a little while ago. He has to take a singular decision, what to do next. A lot of pressure on him to de-escalate. A lot of pressure, viewers, is being brought to bear on our country to de-escalate. But the Prime Minister knows that certain objectives that he's defined in this mission to impose deterrence on Pakistan are perhaps still unmet. and he has a decision to take. The options have been laid out before him on that table. It all began on the night of May 7th, Operation Sindoor. India struck 9 terror targets in Pakistan, including the headquarters of the Jaish-e-Mohammed in Bahawalpur. Jaish-e-Mohammed was behind the killing of the Wall Street Journal journalist, if you remember, Daniel Pearl, who was beheaded in 2002 in Pakistan while covering a story on the links between the Al-Qaeda and Pakistan in the aftermath of the 9/11 terrorist attacks in the United States. Abdul Rauf Azhar, the operational chief of Jaish-e-Mohammed and a central conspirator in Pearl's 2002 kidnapping and murder, it is been said, is eliminated in Operation Sindoor. And if not eliminated, he is battling for his life in a hospital. Now let's go across to Jude Pearl, the father of Daniel Pearl, the American journalist who was kidnapped and beheaded in 2002 by Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists. Thank you so much for joining us. I know this is a difficult time because it brings back all those memories, sir. But what's your reaction to the news that Rauf Azhar, the terrorist who was responsible for your son's killing, is either debilitated or is dead?
Very delighted that the issues of my son has come to the attention of the media and the general public, because it has been almost forgotten. And what was forgotten is the fact that the people responsible for his murder have not been brought to justice. So I'm glad that at least a person who was indirectly connected with his abduction was killed. I'm not sure that he was killed, actually. I haven't seen any confirmation from the Pakistani side that Azhar was killed. But I trust the Indian intelligence to verify that.
Well, this development, I know this is difficult for you, but this development comes 2 decades after your son was murdered in cold blood. You may not share that point of view, but do you think Rauf Azhar's elimination is punishment enough, sir?
Well, the first thing that went to my mind was to verify the connection between the person who was claimed dead, namely Rahul Azhar, and the murder of my son. And I found out that he was indirectly related to the abduction, not directly. He was really part of the, I would say, the industry and the training ground of the extremists at that time, the terrorist organization. And he was indirectly involved in the sense that he was involved in the 1999 hijack and the release of Omar Sheikh from prison, which led to the abduction of my son. So it was indirect involvement, still very important, but the person was not directly involved with hijacking or with abducting Daniel Pearl. So that was my first reaction. My second was delight and happy that the issue has been brought up again to the public attention. The issue of who murdered my son and whether the two peoples that are the executors are still have not been brought to justice. So I was...
Well, sir, no parent must ever really have to talk about their child's demise, especially under these unfortunate circumstances. But do you think you're closer to at least a sense of justice? Would you agree?
But they have not. I'm talking about the people directly involved with my son's murder. They have not been brought to justice. Yes. The one indirectly involved, very important, I don't deny that, was killed, and I'm happy that that incident brought the issue to public attention.
Well, have you heard from the Pakistani government after Rauf was eliminated in India's strike? Any communication from them?
No, I haven't heard from anyone. I haven't heard from the Pakistani side. I only heard claims from the Indian side.
So what do you think would bring closure or a sense of justice, a semblance of closure, some justice to you, sir?
What can be done is to focus attention on several things. One of them, indeed, is the fact that Pakistan is encouraging and training, and at least they cannot contain the extreme element. And that is, it needs to be brought to public attention, perhaps even to the attention of the American government, and I'm sure they know about it. The second one is to, as I mentioned, to pay attention to the two people, Omar Sheikh and what's his name?
Masood Azhar. Yes.
No, Ralph was killed, from what I understand.
Yeah.
We're talking about the two people directly involved. And this is Omar Sheikh, who is now in government safety house next to the prison. He was earlier sentenced to death. His sentence was commuted. And it's still a sore pain to us to see that in public, essentially, the Pakistani have commuted his sentence.
Well, Jude Pearl, thank you very much for speaking to us in these very trying circumstances. Let's just hope, viewers, that Jude Pearl's fervent pleas for justice are responded to. The Indian government, of course, is doing its bit there. And maybe finally the Pakistanis will think about maybe also getting in touch with Mr. Jude Pearl and delivering perhaps to him the justice that he yearns for. We leave it at this. Continued coverage, viewers, up after this short break. Don't go away.
Mahi sir.
An escalation. I mean, Pakistan is willing to risk attacking your capital. Fortunately, we were able to disable it to make sure before it hit Delhi. But what if it had hit Delhi? And how do you know it's an armed conventional or is it a nuclear armed missile? So Pakistan is testing the limits of India's patience, and therefore any response henceforth will be measured. But that measure will also go up several notches.
Well, again, since you're talking about that, well, let me report two other developments. Sirens on in Jammu and another explosion heard in Srinagar. So let's just hope that everything is, everyone is out of harm's way. Akash joining us for more on these details. Ishan Wani reporting another explosion heard in Srinagar. Akash, the sirens in Jammu and the explosion heard in Srinagar. Yes.
Yes, we have been hearing the sirens. In fact, I'll try to give you some natural ambience. There you have the sirens. And, these sirens are on since just a while back. We heard the AD gun sound destroying, one drone. And I was, in fact, reporting that, Rahul. In fact, in Srinagar, we have been, hearing about similar activities. So it seems like Pakistan is still not, in fact, letting its
big
men
news coming
rest
in, Akash,
from the sort of
big news
activities
coming
that they
in.
have.
First phone call between India and Pakistan. The DGMOs are talking. Now, just break this down for us. DGMOs talking. What does this mean?
Yes, Director General Military Operations. We have seen that how their offices connected last Tuesday. But Manoj Gupta has been reporting that one hotline connection has been established, in fact, today. And Pakistan wants de-escalation. This is a big news coming in fact, Rahul. Pakistan wants de-escalation. Situation is, in fact, bad in the country and Pakistan wants to meet Indian side. This was the connection between the DGMOs on both the sides, and they have spoken on hotline. DGMO, remember, is someone who takes care of the operation of the military on both sides, and we have been given to understand that DGMOs connected from both the sides, and Pakistan
right now I have to go across
de-escalation.
Okay, just 1 second, because we only have him for 10 minutes apparently, and I've been asked to go straight across to the father of Daniel Pearl.
Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching our rolling continuous coverage of Operation Sindoor that continues. Remember, Pakistan has been provoking India for the third day running after Operation Sindoor eliminated as many as 100 plus terrorists. I'm Shivani Gupta. Speaking of those terrorists, we have a list, the first tranche of list possibly, of the names of some of the most wanted terrorists that have been eliminated as far as the strike is concerned. Let me begin by breaking down that list for you. So 5 most wanted terrorists have been eliminated as far as this strike is concerned. Among those were neutralized were Mudassir Khadian Khas, Hafiz Mohammad Jamil, Mohammad Yusuf Azhar, Khalid and Mohammad Hassan. All of these are wanted terrorists for various reasons, but of course some of those names are linked to Maulana Masood Azhar, and some of those are linked to the IC-814 hijacking as well. So let me just break down the top names that we have accessed. Possibly more will be in the offing as more proof is ascertained. But take a look. This is Mudassir Khadian Khas, goes by many aliases, was in charge of the Markaz Taiba at Muridke, which was one of the most important sites that was struck by India under Operation Sindoor. He was the one who was given the Guard of Honor by Pakistan Army. Wreath was placed during his funeral on behalf of the Pakistani Army Chief himself. Also on behalf of Punjab Chief Minister Maryam Nawaz. This is also the man whose funeral was led by designated sanctioned terrorist Rauf, and the picture of his funerals are the ones that went viral once they took place after Operation Sindoor. Second on the list is Hafiz Mohammad Jamil. He's from Jaish-e-Mohammed, eldest brother-in-law of Masood Azhar. He was in charge of the Markaz Subhanallah, which was in Bahawalpur. That was the other big site that was targeted as far as India is concerned. He indoctrinated youth. He raised funds for the Jaish-e-Mohammed. That's the role that he played. Mohammad Yusuf Azhar, brother-in-law of Masood Azhar, again is another terrorist killed in these strikes. This man was wanted in the IC-814 hijacking. So that's the big catch, big scalp from India. He handled weapons as far as the Jaish-e-Mohammed and others are concerned. Let me also go across to my colleague Arunima and Akash, who are joining us. Arunima, big catch, especially one of the plotters of the IC-814 hijacking.
See, there are 5 people who have been identified, but the name that all of India perhaps was looking for, of Rauf Azhar, brother of Masood Azhar, that name is not there on the list. It was being speculated that Rauf Azhar was also one of those who was killed in that attack in Bahawalpur, but his name is not on the list. He is also the killer of Daniel Pearl. He's the man who has been running Jaish-e-Mohammed all the time that Masood Azhar has been indisposed, and he was trying to hide from the long arm of the law. But Rauf's name is not on the list. It is now, agencies are now suspecting that Rauf perhaps has been taken to a military hospital away and away from all the missiles and drones that India are sending to Pakistan, because he's a very high asset and he is being protected. But even though Rauf is not there, 2 brother-in-laws of Masood Azhar, brother-in-laws of Rauf Azhar, are on the list of deceased who have been identified. One wanted for the IC-814 hijacking, part of Masood Azhar's close coterie, people who were responsible for running Jaish-e-Mohammed. Another man who's on top of that list, he also calls himself Abu Jundal. Now, Abu Jundal, we all know, was a name for another terrorist associated with 2611. But this is another Abu Jundal. He is believed to be running the Hafiz Saeed facility of Lashkar-e-Toiba in Murid Ke. And the others who have been named are also Khalid, he is from Lashkar-e-Toiba, involved in multiple terror attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. His funeral was held in Faisalabad and attended by senior army officials as well as Deputy Commissioner of Faisalabad. So every time Pakistan tries to say that terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir is indigenous, that we have nothing to do with it, these are non-state actors, the fact that people in uniform, be it people from the police force of Pakistan or the army of Pakistan or the district administration of Pakistan, when they come and attend funerals of people identified as terrorists, named by the United Nations, named by the international charters on terrorism, it completely exposes their lies.
So, Akash, I'm going to come to you. Just a quick follow-up with Arunima. When the all-party meet happened a couple of days ago, sources told us that Rajnath Singh told the parties that the counting is still on. Right? The number was pegged at about 100 as far as the neutralization is concerned. But do you believe that the agencies are still ascertaining some of the other prominent names that may have got killed under these strikes? Could we expect an addition to this list once it's confirmed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is just the initial, identification that has come out, and it's not an easy task.
Yes.
In the current kind of tension that you're seeing between India and Pakistan, it is not an easy task to activate your sources. There are three ways by way of which agencies can work to identify. One, of course, will be human intelligence. So in the current scenario, human intelligence will be difficult to get. The second will be technical intelligence. Technical intelligence is something that the agencies are depending on. There's interception of calls that are happening. There's interception of whatever communication is happening on open line, and they are mentioning even in public. Masood Azhar, for example, said that I have lost 10 members of my family. So it will take time for agencies to put together the technical intelligence, the human intelligence and intelligence that they are gathering from any other open source or third source, and only then, once they have authentic reasons to believe that yes, this is the person who was killed, he was killed at this hour, at this location, and this is his background, only then will they come out. India is much more sophisticated than Pakistan, which indulges in misinformation only to cater to its domestic constituency, soon to be exposed by Indian agencies like PIB Fact Check has been doing.
Absolutely. Akash, coming to you as well, some important names as far as that strike is concerned. We are waiting for more confirmations, but this is the vindication that India was basically presenting to the world, that we have targeted terror sites and these markazes that function as indoctrination or training camps, and these names prove all of that. Pakistan has been trying to project that their citizens have got killed. There's hardly any evidence that they have been able to provide on that front. But India can provide evidence, including of those funeral processions or funeral parties which have been attended by Pakistan military itself.
Exactly the question.